The desert. Silent. Hostile. Endless. A place to clear your mind. Block out the noise. Making room for thoughts which question everything. Empty and alone. I can't go on. Nothing hears you quite like Phoenix Raceway. So talk to it. Time to get some things off your chest. It's all in front of you now. Welcome to the desert.
Oh yeah, the desert has been good to a handful of drivers in the field today, but it's been really, really good to Kevin Harvick, who's gone to victory lane 9 times at the 1-mile track, looking for number 10 today. But you know what? Someone might have something to say about that, and that, of course, is Kyle Busch. Rowdy has finished first or second in the last 4 Phoenix races. That's pretty good. And then, of course, that guy right there, Jimmy Johnson. Someone has lit a fire under his 48 car, and why couldn't this be the day that he breaks his 98 race winless streak? Hi, everyone. Welcome to Race Day, presented by Coca-Cola Energy, and welcome to our Charlotte studios. I'm Shannon Spake, Jamie McMurray, and of course, America's crew chief, Larry McReynolds. Full disclosure, none of us really know what time it is. We're all exhausted from losing that extra hour of sleep, like many of you might be. So join us for the rest of the day to catch a little racing out there in Phoenix. And Larry, I just mentioned a handful of drivers coming onto the show that could win out at Phoenix today. But this season has been unpredictable, and there's no reason to think that we're not going to follow suit today.
Well, just to clear the air, I know what time it is.
You do?
It's time to go racing in Phoenix. But I know we call this a 1-mile track, but and this hadn't changed since we first went there in 1988. It's just a big old short track with long straightaways. But it's a very short race, only 312 laps. You make a mistake on the racetrack or on pit road, you may not recover no matter how good your race car is. And going back to the 2 practices on Friday, I think it's wide open. I have no idea who can win this race today.
Look, it is a short track, but the one thing about Phoenix is that there are some amazing restarts here. You'll see guys 3, 4, 5 wide. The other thing about this race that makes it a little more important than any of the others is this is where they're going to come back in November and race for the championship.
That's a very good point. Guys will be trying to figure stuff out today for that end of the season race. There are so many storylines coming out of Phoenix this weekend. And since we're in the desert, let's talk about what's hot out there this weekend. First up, good to see Ryan Newman at the racetrack this week. Of course, his first time back since that scary crash on the last lap of the Daytona 500. He told reporters it's great to be alive, used the word miracle, and then answered, I feel fine. Do I look fine? Well, this guy is fine right here. Ryan Blaney inking a new deal with Team Penske. Reports are saying it's through the 2023 season. And how many days of the Daytona 500 there, Larry Mack?
343.
Wow, he had that on standby. Of course, the schedule is going to look a little bit different. All racing in the week, and we will be doing the Clash on the road course. So the biggest story for you coming out of this weekend is what?
Well, what I think is hot, I believe, is where we're supposed to go today. And I never thought I would say this on national TV.
That 1 hour.
Sorry, it's the 1 hour less sleep. But I'm going to say what every female NASCAR teenage fan has said, and that is that Ryan Blaney is hot.
Is that what they said?
For multiple reasons, those guys. You look, I mean, he's had a chance to win the first 3 races. He's our points leader, but most importantly, he just signed a new contract. And as a driver, that's a sense of relief. Now he can go out and he can do his job.
He's off the market.
Off the market. There you go.
Yeah, my storyline is not hot. It's just lukewarm. And it's a couple of our past champions, Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. They've not had a bad start to the season, but they're not making a lot of noise. They're not up there leading laps. And you think about their record at Phoenix. 12 wins between the 2 of them. They've won 9 of the last 15. That's 2 drivers I'm watching today, and I think it'll be a good measuring stick where they and their team stack up.
Well, we'll wait to see how that plays out today. But first, let's take a look at the Xfinity fastest lap. And you know what? It has nothing to do with cars and everything to do with that guy. Get from Clint Boyer. Take a look back in 2012. Clint Boyer run into the 24 hauler to discuss things.
He'd have got him had it not been for the traffic.
He was moving. He a little quicker on the feet than he was kicking that football, if you saw that on social media. These guys, of course, will forever be linked when we come to Phoenix. Let's head out there. Adam Alexander and Jeff Gordon. Sorry, Jeff, we had to show it one more time.
Come on, Shannon. I thought we were putting this thing to bed.
Hey, you know, last weekend at California, the word was character. And I would say that Phoenix Raceway is pretty unique as well. As you zoom in, you can see that we are standing in the dogleg. Nothing like this at any other track that we go to compete on. And when you look at the balance of 2023 races, 3 different winners, who can help us go 4 for 4 here today, Jeff?
Well, this is the first time all year where these drivers are going to have to be on the brakes really hard into the corner. The tires are going to be slipping, sliding around. I think this Goodyear tire that they brought is definitely going to fade a little bit. We've got the traction compound, so it takes finesse out of a driver how you enter the corner. Look no further than our front row pole sitter, Chase Elliott. I think that certainly suits his driving style. On the outside of Chase Elliott, you've got Kevin Harvick, who has done so well at this track, has absolutely dominated here. I think this track, this tire, this aerodynamic package suits his style, and I think he's going to be very strong today.
And this is a guy that's got a great history here, but you said Harvick coming into the weekend wasn't necessarily the guy you now believe he can get it done. And someone else you have to look at certainly is Kyle Busch, won 2 of the last 3, and we just know he understands Phoenix.
Yeah, you know, we've not seen the just raw speed out of the Toyotas this year and out of Kyle Busch, but you saw him fight at the end of that race last week to get that second place finish. This is a track that suits him, suits his team. I think they got a little bit of work to do to catch a couple of those other guys like Kevin Harvick, like Chase Elliott, maybe even a Brad Keselowski I thought looked really good on the timesheet. And also Ryan Blaney has been really good this year, signed that new contract, got a lot of confidence, but you're going to have to search this racetrack today. You're going to have to finesse and work those tires and not overload them at the beginning and help try to manage them long into the run, not to mention what happens on pit road and strategy.
Yeah, and I'll say this, short race too. You make a mistake, going to be very difficult to bounce back. Do you have the Fox Sports Super 6 app, Jeff?
I wish I did. They won't let me play it.
Oh, you're ineligible.
But I heard there's a bunch of money on the line.
And you should get it at home as well. Play NASCAR Super 6 for free for a chance to win up to $40,000 this week. Get your picks in now. Much more to come from the desert right now. Here's what's around the turn.
Tell me if you heard this one. NASCAR driver walks into a bar.
Gotta have a cowboy hat behind a bar.
Let's just let Clint Boyer supply the punchline. Then, Jeff Gordon sits down with Arizona native Alex Bowman, fresh off a California victory, to hear what he has in store for an encore. Plus, it's time once again for drivers to yell, "Trouble!" as Michael Waltrip barrels down the grid. As Fox Race Day heats up.
So a couple years ago, this Jeff Gordon, he comes to me. He says, I want to build a barn. I want to build it at the racetrack. I want to give a fan an environment to have some fun. Rule number 1 in bar business, don't leave the bar open, especially when you invite somebody like me here. Got to have a cowboy hat behind a bar. That being said, you have to have a good drink list. $14 margarita, huh? 14? Holla. Jeff, the tab is on you. It's open right now, and we are putting a hurting on it, buddy. You can't have a bar without, like, what? Look, this has polished concrete floors, for crying out loud. There is not a barn in existence that has polished concrete. What's this section for? The people that hate people? You did not skimp on the AC system. Look at that. That is awesome. So I don't know what poor individual lost their barn, but I really dig the barnwood. I can just see people right here having a good time, watching that band. You gotta have a VIP area. This is where they go. By the way, Yoakum checks at the gate. Man, Jeff, you sent me out here for the stamp of approval. You've got it, baby. You nailed it. This place is awesome. This is the go-to place in Phoenix. I can promise you that. Just one more problem. The barn? This needs to be called the Boyer.
Hey, since we're on the subject of beverages, NASCAR Race Day is presented by Coke Energy. And I will say this, you get the stamp of approval from Boyer, but he was honest in giving his critique.
Oh, I'm taking notes, and it looks like I got a new investor as a partner to do some of those upgrades that he's asking for. We had a most awesome time. Bunch of drivers came out. The fans, that's what, I mean, great fan, just engagement here. They're out there in the campgrounds. They came over. It was a big hit, so thanks to Phoenix Raceway for all the hard work and effort they put into it. The drivers were coming over. Bubba played the drums. I mean, it was a good weekend.
You had his drumsticks,
You're lucky to even
right?
have me here right now.
Hey, I will say this, you probably don't need an investor. I mean, if margaritas are $14, you don't need anybody to help write the checks.
I did all that just for Boyer. We would never charge that much if it wasn't for Boyer.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd say it's fitting that Boyer was in the barn. But let's turn our eyes back to racing now. And I said it earlier, this racetrack is very unique. We're in the dog leg. We don't see this anyplace else. What impact could this part of the racetrack have on today's race?
And you heard Clint talk about this when he was on the show earlier, is that this is a track that has a lot of different elements to it. One being coming off of this final turn, you can see the two cars got side by side. Denny Hamlin, there is no out of bounds here through this dog leg. If you need to go all the way onto the apron to make that pass, and I know we don't consider this a short track, but it races and there's action like a short track, just like you saw there with Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin.
There's a guy to watch today, Alex Bowman starting 8th, all the momentum in the world.
Yeah, Alex is on a heck of a roll. We've seen what he can do a mile and a half. We've seen what he can do here. It was fun for me to get a chance to sit down with Alex and kind of peel back the layers, see him come out of his shell, talk about that win last week, talk about the future, maybe even talk about some tattoos.
Alex Bowman comes to the stripe to win the Auto Club 400. He was fast all weekend. He was on everybody's radar. A lot of drivers called him the car to beat. And here he is for Tucson, Arizona's Alex Bowman.
Well, congrats again. Big win in Auto Club. Tell us, how'd you celebrate? What was it like the night after the race and this week?
It was a long week of celebrating, kind of different. This week we came straight to Phoenix, so got to actually celebrate with a lot of buddies from back home and enjoyed it. Don't remember some of it, but that's okay. Had a really good time.
Your name has been floated around out there as maybe some unknowns moving forward in 2021. How important was that win, not just for having a good season, but maybe even for your future?
I've made it very clear HMS is where I want to be. So it's super important to go and run up front, win races. I think we need to win more than one. Just try to solidify myself as a top-level Cup driver.
I know you pretty well, and I know about your background and the path here. And you obviously had success along the way to get here, but you've also had some, I don't want to say struggles, but a lot of adversity to have to overcome.
You could go all the way back as my first couple years in the Cup Series, just trying to do more with less, driving for smaller race teams, getting fired on Twitter.
In the drive-thru.
Yeah, in the Taco Bell drive-thru. I really wasn't hungry after that, which, I can crush some tacos, so that was a big bummer, but I got to make a lot of mistakes with nobody watching in those cars, except for you when you were lapping me. You got to see a lot of them.
It was hard for me to judge what kind of race car driver you were, I gotta say.
For sure.
So Rick Hendrick, your car owner, he's got some fast cars. You love to set up your own cars and have a lot of horsepower under the hood. You guys want to, I guess, take these souped up cars that you have and go run them head to head on a drag strip?
Yeah, so we both had like 900 horsepower Corvettes. They both became full-blown race cars really quickly. And then both cars got so fast that I got scared. I don't know about Mr. H, but I was definitely scared. My car went back to being a street car, and I don't know what the status is on his. I'll still go race him, but I found the bottom of my pocket, and I don't think he's gonna find the bottom of his.
Well, no matter how deep you go into your pocket and how good your car is, I'd recommend lifting just a little bit at the end of the...
Yeah, I kept trying to beat him, but then I realized it's probably not the best idea.
All right, I gotta ask you, you said it. you and your buddy are going to get a tattoo, an 88 tattoo. What's the status?
Yeah, so it hasn't happened yet. I don't know that it's going to be an 88 tattoo, but it's going to be some kind of tattoo referencing the whole thing. Like, it was a big group thing. So 4 or 5 guys got 88 tattoos this week. I'm slacking because I've been vacationing all week, but when I get home, it's going to happen at some point. I don't know. In the right situation, I mean, for the right sponsor, I could just put it on my forehead or something.
Oh, boy. Wow, that's commitment.
I'm not scared, but anything to keep me in the seat, right?
Well, I love your commitment. I love what you're bringing on the track. It's been fun to watch. Keep being you.
Thanks.
And keep having a great year.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Great interview, and you can't beat Big Mo. Can he go back-to-back today?
Man, this is what got him that job, that full-time job in that 88 car was right here in Phoenix. So looking forward to seeing what they do today.
Have a good call in the booth this afternoon.
Thank you,
it's going to be a fun race, all right?
Fun pre-race. Should be a fun race.
We all know where's Waldo, but where's Waltrip? As in Michael Waltrip. Hey, Michael.
Hey, I love when I come to a NASCAR race and a party breaks out, and that's exactly what's happened here in the infield. As you can see, Blake Shelton's up there pumping it. He's with Pitbull. They're singing. They're also going to go out to the grid walk. I'll catch up with them there. Our Pizza Hut countdown clock is rolling. I'm ready for the grid walk.
Welcome back to Race Day here on Fox, getting you ready for racing out at Phoenix. Let's play a little game of spring forward, fall back. Why don't we? Of course, playing off the time change that took place last night. Going to ask these guys if they think a driver's springing forward or falling back. Let's start with Alex Bowman.
He's already springing. I mean, he went to Victory Lane last week at Auto Club Speedway. I think he's going to have a solid run today, but I look at these next 2.5 miles, Atlanta Motor Speedway and Homestead. He could spring right into Victory Lane at either one of those tracks.
Yeah, I'm springing forward as well. The only thing that makes me nervous about Alex is that when we saw him win last year, he got on kind of not running well. I'm tongue-tied.
It's okay.
A streak.
That extra hour.
But look, he's run so well this season. Clearly, he's moving in the right direction.
Yes, and of course, he's from Arizona, so it'd be a big win for him today if he's able to get it done. Ryan Blaney, what a season, right? What do you guys think?
Yeah, springing forward on Ryan Blaney. I mean, he has been so good all year. He's leading the points right now. Clearly, that team's going the right direction.
I know they've not won a race, but springing forward. You keep running that way. I texted his crew chief, Todd Gordon, after last Sunday. I said, there is no way you can keep being that fast and not find Victory Lane.
Now you're just name dropping.
That's his crew chief.
That's his crew chief.
That's my buddy.
And of course, signed a new deal, right? So that's a little bit of motivation as well. Kyle Larson, where are we going with Kyle Larson?
Yeah, we keep waiting. I keep waiting on Kyle Larson, but I'm going to fall back on this one. You know, if you look at his career, we've talked about him closing the deal. 12 times he has led over 100 laps in a race and found Victory Lane twice. He has not led a single lap. I keep waiting. I'm waiting.
We're waiting.
Right now, falling back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to fall back here as well. I mean, the thing about Kyle is that he proved in 2017 he can win a lot of races. He won four races in 2017. Won one last year, but he just hasn't been quite as consistent as what we need and winning as many races as some of these other guys. So need to see a little bit more there.
All right, our final guy in this little game that we're playing, Jamie, is Chase Elliott. What do you got? Springing forward or falling back?
Yeah, definitely springing forward. I mean, the guy's won 3 races the last 2 years. He's won 3 of the 6 stages this year. I mean, on the pole today, this guy could just win any single week.
I'm leaning forward, but right now I'm going to fall back. I kind of put him in the Kyle Larson category. Leads laps, wins stage 1, wins stage 2, and then finishes ninth. And it's not all self-inflicted. Knocked the valve stem off a few weeks ago, but this guy should have a lot more wins than what he has based on the performance, and now especially with this new Chevrolet Camaro.
So maybe you've got someone underneath you as you fall back that can push you forward.
Me, and I'm ready. I'm ready on him, and I'm ready on Kyle Larson.
Let's see if that happens. Of course, 2 of NASCAR powerhouse teams that we did not mention, Stewart-Haas Racing and Joe Gibbs Racing, have had a fair share of ups and downs in this season. I know we're just 3 races into the year, but these are teams that are used to winning and dominating races.
Does the Gibbs dominance continue?
I think there's some work to be done.
We know one thing. The target is on Joe Gibbs Racing.
And Stewart-Haas Racing has not been to Victory Lane since Texas last November.
Inspection issues. You look at pit road issues. They've kind of maintained. Everybody else is caught up.
I just feel like I'm the same as everybody else, man. I don't have anything special like that. You just wrecked us. Damn it. Just take it to the garage. What's going on?
Denny Hamlin has been in the wall.
All the Gibbs guys are pissed at each other. 20 and 11. They can both get fucked.
The magical elixir could come on Sunday. They've been really good lately at Phoenix.
You heard Adam just used that word, magical elixir. All right, we're going to take this Ford Cutaway car, and I want you to show me the magical elixir for the Stewart-Haas racing team could be this aero package we have this weekend. They had a lot of success with it in 2018. What's the difference between what they have this weekend and what they've had in the past?
Yeah, this is a package that we're going to run at 14 different races in 2020 at all the tracks a mile and under, including the road courses. And it all starts, Shannon and Jamie, underneath the front end of the car, what we call the front splitter. And right now, if you look at this area right here, when you walk up to the car, there's 2 inches exposed. And underneath, on the corners, it's 11.5 inches. So now we go underneath, and we're going to reduce the size of that front splitter. Pretty much in this area here, this was the part that's 11 inches on the corner. This is all, for the most part, it's going to stay the same, but we're going to reduce that substantially, which is going to take front downforce away. Now the depth underneath the corners is 2 inches, and there's that 1/4 inches that I'm talking about that's exposed right there that you see when you walk up to the race car.
And one thing, when you take all that front downforce away from the car, you can't just take it off the front, otherwise the guy's going to be really tight. So you have to balance it out in the back of the car. So Larry, what have they done in the back of the car to make that work?
Yeah, and of course, the biggest culprit in the back of the race car when it comes to downforce is the rear spoiler area. That's the thing that creates drag, and it increases or reduces the downforce as well. And right now, what we've been running is 8 inches tall, 61 inches wide. So what they did, they went in there and they took a lot of that height away. It's going to be pretty much the same width, but look at that, 2 3/4. I mean, that is substantially smaller in the rear of the car. Same angle, same width, just a lot shorter in height.
He's giving me a lot of numbers to deal with, right? So take me inside the race car driver. What does this mean for the guy behind the wheel?
Well, we're going to hear the guys in the race today talk about how loose they are on the exit of the corner, how loose they are on entry, and they are because of that small spoiler. The other thing that affects is braking. We heard some of the guys, Kevin Harvick talked about it in practice, a little bit of wheel hop on entry. You don't have all the downforce, and you don't have the drag to slow you down, so you're applying more brake pressure. But this is the way to go for the short tracks. We talked about how good it was in 2018, the short track races, and we're going to have that again today. This is a great package short track wise.
Certain drivers like this a little bit better than others?
Look, I think across the board, everyone in practice seemed to favor this. And because look, last year they had a hard time passing. They felt like that big spoiler. It was harder on the short tracks. This is a really good balance we have this year on the intermediate tracks, that high drag, high downforce package, and then this being our short track package.
You have fun with your Ford Cutaway car. We got Michael Waltrip down there having fun on the grid walk. Let's go out to Phoenix and hear from Michael.
Yeah, I found Blake Shelton and Martin Truex Jr., 2 of my favorite people on earth. How's it going? How's your experience been?
It's been great, man. I'm getting to talk to Martin Truex Jr.
He's going to go to the back and put on a show.
You got to start in the back?
I got to start in the back.
What the hell did you do this time?
They had changed the engine the other day, so.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
I want you to hear something.
Always something.
Baptized in the holy water and shine with them dogs running.
That's a good song.
Jesus. It's not now.
It's terrible.
It officially is a horrible song.
It sounds better when you sing it.
Thank you.
Darn it. Well, thanks for saying hi. There's Eric Jones. I'm going to go talk to him. Hey, Eric. How you doing?
Good.
Good to see your smiling face. You're starting up front. You feel good about all this?
I do, yeah. Your hair looks nice, too.
I got it fixed. My boss texted me on Thursday, and he said, Mike, it's time.
They do that to me sometimes, too. So.
Yeah, you like to get a little bit crazy, don't you?
Yeah, I'm clean shaven today. Got the hair trim. It's good.
Did you know Blake was coming? Is that what this is all about?
That's what it was, yeah. I was cleaning up.
All right. Have fun today. I got 20 seconds to get to one more person. See who we can find. Hey, I'm just going to say, no, that's Kyle. He got mad at me last week. Where's Matt DiBenedetto? That's where we'll go. Right here. Matty, the Pizza Hut clock, countdown clock's running. You got anything to say in 5 seconds?
I think we're going to be fast and drive to the front, if you think so.
Love that. We'll be right back.
Back here on race day. The time has come. Let's go trackside at Phoenix for opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time that we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Luke Air Force Base Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Pastor Rick Derbyshire offers our invocation.
Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for loving us, that you sent your son Jesus to be a pathway back to you. We pray for today's race at Fanshield 500 here at Phoenix Raceway. We also pray for the safety of our drivers and crew members. Thank you also for our military and our first responders who protect us here at home and around the world. In Jesus' name, amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome star of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, Skylar Aston.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we've hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Beautiful day out there at Phoenix, 73 degrees. Chase Elliott will lead the field to green. 312 laps coming up next on Fox.
Beyond these mountains lies a city where names are made, a place I am all too familiar with, a proven ground for those on deck, where I perfected my craft and learned from my idols. For baseball's top prospects, all eyes are on spring training, where each swing, pitch, and out counts if they want to make it to the majors. As for NASCAR's young guns, they've already moved up to the big leagues, but still have a lot to prove. Phoenix Raceway is resilient. You can't be caught looking, or else you'll be down in the count. As drivers make their way around the horn, they've got to make a move, dive quick, and find the gap. For the vets, this track is right in the wheelhouse. Even the Arizona ace, Kevin Harvick, looks for his first home run of the season here. As a slugger, I know what it takes to come out victorious. This is Prospects Paradise. This is Phoenix.
Me out to the raceway. Take me where cars are loud. Buy me some tall cans from Jeff's new bar. Oh my God, look at that fast race car. Let us root for our favorites. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 turns in 4 at the old raceway.
A Jeremy Manell original that you'll be singing the rest of the day. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Discover what's possible. Keep moving. Goodyear, more driven. I know that this season has been so unpredictable, Jamie, but can you predict who might be fast today? Who are you watching?
Well, I think it's hard to go to Phoenix and not talk about Kevin Harvick or Kyle Busch, but I think the guy that's going to surprise us today was really good in practice, and that is Brad Keselowski.
He was pretty confident, tweeting out some of his 10-lap average, 20-lap average, saying how fast that car was.
Yeah, he's never won here before, but he also, the thing that he said that I liked is that he said he liked the way his car felt, and I think that's going to be really important today, that you can maneuver around, get in the traction compound, and also be able to pass maybe on the bottom.
Kevin Harvick going for his 50th win, 10th possible at Phoenix. Mike Joy, Jeff Gordon have the call after command to start engines, so let's do it.
And now for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome our Grand Marshal, founder and chief executive officer for ProTech, Brian Derbyshire, along with Casey Kalinsky, chief operating officer, and their families.
Drivers, start your engines!
It's just the 4th race of 2020, but the heat is on. Some big names are still trying to find the oasis that is Victory Lane. Even our points leader has yet to take the checkers, but a win in Phoenix would prove his early success is no mirage. 3 races, 3 winning manufacturers, which will be the first to see double. Chase Elliott starts up front on the heels of his teammates' impressive California win. In practice, Brad Kay proved ready for the long haul, and we all know the Joe Gibbs Racing Caravan can get hot at any time. If history's taught us anything, race 4 just might belong to number 4, a modern-day Desert King. So sit back, relax, and stay hydrated. The heat is on. Today's duel in the desert encompasses 500 kilometers of racing, new stage lengths. We'll deal with that in just a minute. My Hall of Fame colleague Jeff Gordon has won here twice and has a career record 24 top 10s. So you should know as well as Kevin Harvick, the Desert King, what it takes to run consistent fast laps on this mile.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, the driver plays an important role every weekend, but I think more so here than ever. When I look at Kevin Harvick and what makes him so good, he likes his car to rotate through the center better than the other cars. In order to do that, you have to be able to get into the braking zone and use your footwork, and I think he does that better than anybody, how he rolls out of the throttle and onto the brake and modulates it to the center of the corner.
And for the first time, the track that will decide the champion in this playoff format as a springtime race. Going to be a lot of different setups, a lot of different trial and error things going on here, and we expect some great side-by-side racing.
Inter Miami makes their home debut against Chicharito and the LA Galaxy.
It is Chicharito!
Saturday at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific on Fox.
So far, the West has been won by a couple of gunslingers.
Joey Logano, Alex Bowman comes to the stripe to win.
And now, it heats up in Phoenix.
Car hard in the wall.
Before these wheelmen head back east, it's one last showdown at this chaotic track.
Wild in the West.
Here we go. Right now on Fox.
Wow, that voice sounds as dry as this desert. That's how we felt out here. It's just been beautiful all week long. Hardly a cloud in the sky as the cars roll off for the NASCAR Cup Series from Phoenix on Fox, presented by Ram. Bottom of the screen, your starting grid will roll by. A Chevy Ford front row. Chase Elliott with his first Phoenix pole. And Kevin Harvick, 9-time Phoenix winner. Danny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, row 2, Ryan Blaney, Eric Almirola, Kurt Busch, Alex Bowman, and Matt DiBenedetto, Kyle Busch, your top 10.
What do you say we dial up our Phoenix master here, Kevin Harvick? Hey, Kevin, this is Jeff and Mike up at the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, I hope you're as excited as the rest of us are. We got low downforce, all that horsepower under the hood, new Goodyear tire. Is this back in your wheelhouse so you can get that first win of the season in number 10 here?
I don't know, Jeff. You know, I think the weekend's gone so far so good. The one thing I can tell you is the cars drive a lot different than what they have in the past with the stagger in the back and the way that the cars are loose up off the corner. And then you add in the PJ1. You know, where does your balance need to be on the car? So there's still some things that we have to learn on our Jimmy John's Ford as we go through the first part of this race, but has been exciting to slide around and have some options on the racetrack for sure.
Well, we're looking forward to some of that sliding around. Have a great one. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Kevin Harvick will roll from the outside pole. Let's get down to pit road. Matt Yoakum.
Mike, it's Groundhog Day for Martin Truex Jr. After an engine change, he will drop to the back for the second straight week. It's almost been a 180 weekend. Much of Friday, they were one step off of being junk. They wholesaled the setup. James Small's crew chief thinks they have hit on what was wrong. Keep an eye on that 19 as he searches his first win of the season from the back. Jamie?
Well, Jimmy Johnson's coming off a solid top 10 finish at California. It was a celebration weekend, but since the 48 team arrived here at Phoenix, they had to hit the reset button. It has been a struggle to find speed in both practice sessions and then in qualifying. He was just off the pace. He qualified 21st, but crew chief Cliff Daniels and Jimmy Johnson very optimistic. This 48 team will bring it back and they will race better than they practice. Regan Smith.
Jamie, Ryan Blaney's had his fair share of bad luck the past 2 weeks, but this week that luck might have changed. He signed a contract extension with Team Penske. Things are looking good for him. The race car today, very good on the short runs. Look for him to be fast early on and try to use that to get the finish he deserves this afternoon. Vince?
Well, it's been a challenging weekend for Kyle Larson and the 42 team, beginning with multiple issues in practice. But one of Larson's strengths is adapting to a changing track and changing car conditions. And those are challenges the teams will face today. So Larson may not be his best early, but don't be surprised to see him adapt and be in the mix late. Mike?
Thanks, Vince. And we'll see the heart rate monitor. There it is alongside the headrest on Kyle Larson's car. 100 beats per minute right now. The race length is the same, but the stage lengths are different this year. Larry McReynolds.
Yeah, Mike, if you look at these first few races in 2020, standard procedure on the longer stages is pit by splitting them in half. Take advantage of those fresh tires, the beginning and the end of a stage. A little bit more of a risk at this 1 mile racetrack, because if you're not in touch with the leader, you'll go almost 2 laps down. Let's take a look at this interesting race. A short race, 312 laps. And Mike, there you talked about it. 75 laps stage 1, a longer stage 2 at 115 and 122 the checkered flag. Pit road speed, a tricky 45 miles per hour, and Mike, the fuel window, 90 to 95 laps.
Thanks, Larry. There you see the traction compound that's been put down on the outside of the corners in the same place as it was in turns 1 and 2, but they brought that traction compound 8 feet closer to the inside of the surface down in turns 3 and 4. Here's today's Ford Performance Track Facts. Ford winning 5 of the first 6 Cup races here, and all those wins by Hall of Fame drivers. Pole sitter Chase Elliott is elected the outside. He's off and running, and we're under the green in the desert. Lap 1 to Elliott as Harvick had to look up high.
Yeah, I think that traction compound's going to play a big role in the lane choice. Already, Kevin Harvick was the first one to do it in qualifying, show the rest of these guys where the grip is. Now he showed maybe a little bit too much of his hand in turns 3 and 4. Chase Elliott going up to that traction compound.
Harvick wins the drag race into turn 3, slides up, almost gets into Elliott, or did he?
Well, it was very close. I mean, I think Chase Elliott definitely had to give him some room. And look at Kyle Larson taking advantage of what happened. Goes to second place.
Larson was way down inside of the dogleg after the start-finish line here. No out of bounds at Phoenix Raceway. If it's paved, go for it.
Oh, and you saw through turns 1 and 2 on the very start, there were cars, 3 cars down on that apron, 3 wide on the apron at the start of this race. I'm pretty impressed that with this little downforce, how aggressive a lot of these drivers have been, really driving deep into the corner, not knowing what kind of side force, what kind of grip they're going to have here in the early stages.
Back to the inside goes Harvick on Larson, who's already up with 2 tires up into the traction compound in turns 3 and 4.
Well, this is just a much different look at this race than we've seen in the past. We've seen them put traction compound, but we've never had it with the low downforce and with a tire that has a little more stagger that Goodyear brought.
14th place, Joey Logano, Cole Custer chasing Clint Boyer. Here's Harvick.
I think
for second.
Harvick has a really fast race car right now, Mike. He's just trying to find that line that's going to work for him, navigate through some traffic, try to go up there and close up on Chase Elliott. But I think right now Kevin Harvick has the fastest race car.
4 of the top 7 were up in that high line in turns 3 and 4 this time. And that's the purpose of putting down the traction compound, is to help that upper groove come in and be a raceable second lane early.
Well, here's what I like about it. As you see Kyle Larson, all 4 tires up into that area. it's going to wear out. As this race goes on, it's going to wear out. It's going to change. You're going to have to be adaptable. As we heard Vince Welch talk about Kyle Larson, which driver is going to adapt the best? Use the apron at the bottom, the middle groove, the top groove. What are the tires going to do over the long run?
Well, and that's something the drivers ask for, tires that would wear. So Goodyear has brought a tire here, as looking low is Denny Hamlin on third place, Kyle Larson. A tire that has good grip, but also will wear. So tire management, what the drivers and teams choose to do with these tires, is going to be a factor.
And the drivers ask for that because they like that. That brings them more into the game, and they play a bigger factor, and I think it puts on a better race for us to watch also.
Martin Truex started last due to an engine change, and he is looking to move up 10 spots here. Eric Almirola, Ryan Blaney. Fifth place.
I thought Eric Almirola looked really strong. We've seen him take off at the early stages of races this year and have a great first run. He's just got to start putting the second, third, in those final runs together, I think, to put a good result.
And how about Blaney? Signed a new contract with Roger Penske, a multi-year deal that'll take him well beyond this season. Roger is not here. He is being honored at the Amelia Island Concourse, where there's an entire class devoted to race cars of Roger Penske. So Roger, Walt Zarnicki, Don Cox, Chuck Cantwell, all part of a great panel discussion yesterday about, things like acid dipping Trans Am cars and how you win Indy all those times and like that. 9 laps complete. Chase Elliott, your leader in the desert. The NASCAR Cup Series on Fox is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. 15 laps complete. Martin Truex is our USAA biggest mover. Started last due to an engine change. John Hunter Nemechek also started at the back because they changed radiators. Nemechek up 8, Tyler Reddick up 8, and Truex plus 13.
Mike, I want to get a stat of how many cars Joe Gibbs Racing has passed this year. Every single race this year, one of their cars has started at the tail.
7th place here. A home game for Alex Bowman, native of Tucson, chasing California's Matt DiBenedetto. And it looks like they are closing on Ryan Blaney. Vince?
One of the issues a lot of these teams have dealt with in the garage with this different tire and combination of this package is just the car has been free. And that's what DiBenedetto has faced early on. So the car took off really free. Now, depending on where you drive it, it can change the handling conditions. But the general feel right now for the 21 is it's a little too free.
Well, thanks, Vince. Boy, the complexion of this track has changed, and now almost everybody has gone up into the traction compound at both ends of the racetrack as the Busch brothers battle.
Yeah, you saw right there Kyle Busch, and remember, he ran in the Xfinity race, so he probably has more laps in understanding how that traction compound affects the car and how to pass cars. You saw he got a big run off of turn 2 down the back straightaway and then slid, call it the slide job today, on his brother Kurt Busch.
Matt?
And Mike, you saw the back of that 18 car swing out on corner exit. That's the condition he's been fighting. I talked to him on the grid. He was cautiously optimistic. So many factors that we're racing with here today that are new, but he was pretty excited about this package and what he could expect to see today.
And you see something else, some of these lead cars already getting into some traffic. Traffic is going to play a big role in what happens, especially if you're the leader. They're going to fight as we see a good battle for 6th place right here. I've had Matt DiBenedetto putting together a heck of a race so far. Race weekend, great qualifying effort by he and the team. Wood Brothers going by Ryan Blaney.
DiBenedetto started 6th, running 9th. As we ride with Ty Dillon battling Ryan Preece and Chris Buescher.
One of my favorite shots when we come here to Phoenix, because you'll see it shows you what that traction compound's like in the high groove. They'll run across the apron, maybe clip that yellow line with this bumper camera, get right up to the rear bumper, see if somebody gets loose in front of the driver from this shot, and it just looks fast, Mike. And, talking about speed, one of the things I love about this racetrack, they're 165 at the end of the straightaway, all the way down to 100 miles per hour. Big slide by Ryan Blaney as Alex Bowman goes to the inside off of turn 2.
They've got company. Kyle Busch right with them. 1 lap ago. Watch the 88 here.
Yeah, that's coming off of turn 4. You want to get a run and then try to shortcut that apron and dogleg through the front straightaway. You heard Ryan Blaney have to check up a little bit. That allowed this whole move here by the 88 of Bowman to materialize. Regan?
Well, Ryan Blaney felt good about his short run speed in that race car. Unfortunately, the report from the driver, that car's already gone too tight. That means the front tires don't respond when he turns the steering wheel. It wants to go straight to the wall.
Boy, great battle here as Ryan Blaney tries to hold off this pack. Larry Mack?
Well, you've heard our pit reporters talking about the handling going away on these cars and this different tire combination. One thing I like is we've barely run 20 to 25 laps, and the pace has slowed down almost a second. That's what these drivers were looking for. They wanted fall off. They wanted give up on the stopwatch. They feel like then they're a little more control of their race car.
Chase Elliott with about a half a second now on Kevin Harvick, with Kyle Larson 3.5 back.
You see how much more entry speed the 4 of Kevin Harvick carries than Chase Elliott, our leader. It just goes to show you the different approach that you can take at this racetrack, and each end of this racetrack is different. Down in turns 3 and 4, you drive hard up into the banking. Down here in 1 and 2, very flat, wide corner.
I'll get a look at Kyle Busch here, and coming up off turn 2 1 lap ago, he has an issue.
Yeah, he's a little bit to the outside of the 12, trying to use that traction compound, brushes the wall. We'll have to look at the right side. We've seen it doesn't take much contact with those flared fenders to push them in on a tire and cause it to go down.
Got some blue paint on that right rear quarter, especially up above the wheel well opening.
And as a driver, now you're wanting to see if you smell rubber burning. If you smell rubber burning, you better get to pit road. You're going to ask your spotter, tell me what you see. Do you see any smoke? But sometimes it doesn't always show enough smoke to cut the tire or to know whether it's going to cut down.
Again, a characteristic of short track racing.
Love it, Mike.
Chase Elliott half a second up on Kevin Harvick after 27 laps. Kyle Busch has a handful coming off turn number 2. Welcome back to the NASCAR Cup Series from Phoenix on Fox, presented by Ram. Now, we've been calling it traction compound, that material that they spread on the outside of turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Seems like every spotter has a different name for it, though.
Now, a lot of guys are in it down here with the right only. And then about 30% of the way in the corner, he gets into the PJ1 all at once. Now he's running your line behind you. 22's running the juice in 1 and 2. Well, yeah, the top couple cars are definitely running in that black stuff through 1 and 2, rolling up into it, exit 3 and 4. Yeah, the 4 tried to stay in the grip off of turn 2, and he really struggled on exit there. Just keep hitting your mark here.
What did Joey Logano call it the other day?
He's got the best one. It's the awesome sauce.
All right. Denny Hamlin to the inside of Kyle Larson. This is for 3rd place.
Well, remember what happened with these two last week at California. Some heavy contact sending Kyle Larson to the garage area.
And Matt DiBenedetto right in the mix. Going way to the inside.
Things also heating up on her left with the lead. Chase Elliott into traffic. Kevin Harvick closing in on him.
Hamlin wins the battle for 3rd for now. Elson's
nice crossover by Matt DiBenedetto as Larson goes up to the top, coming into traffic. Great move by Matt DiBenedetto to get that run off the bottom and be able to cut through the dogleg. Been watching Kevin Harvick. It looks like Chase Elliott maybe a little bit harder on the brakes initially in the corner, but then as they get into the banking, especially into turn 1, you see Kevin Harvick roll out of the brakes and roll to the center of the corner a little bit quicker than Chase Elliott. Kind of does the same thing there. Well, obviously Larson having some issues right now. We saw DiBenedetto get by him. Now Eric Almirola making a move. Vince?
Well, the car cars has really gotten incredibly tight for Kyle Larson, especially down in 3 and 4, and it's costing him speed. He's really losing it at that end of the track.
Well, they were 3 wide coming off turn 2 in this bunch, where Almirola is battling Alex Bowman. And that's for 6th place, Matt.
The biggest issue for Almirola, Mike, is just rolling to the center of the corner. Mike Bucker-Rabbit suggested maybe backing up his entry, helping its entry, and then roll through the center. But the great thing about this place, there's so many options where the driver can make a difference by changing his line.
Option 1, Kevin Harvick, right down to the bottom, trying to pin Chase Elliott behind a car about to go a lap down. Could not do it.
Boy, that was close, though. Very close. Had McDowell been a little bit slower in the middle of the corner, would have caused a big issue for the 9 of Chase Elliott. Trust me, Chase does not want to lose that lead. That clean air is everything you're looking for. Matt DiBenedetto continues to march forward, going by the guy that dominated this race, Denny Hamlin, here in November.
You know, we heard Kyle Larson talk about how his car was tight, and when you run in that traction compound, or PJ1, or Awesome Sauce, whatever we're going to call it, it makes the balance of the car tighter. So even though that's the preferred line, if your balance is already tight, it's going to be hard for him to make up any ground.
Great point there, Jamie. And, you know, this is far more use of that than they had in practice. We barely saw them go up into this outside groove in practice, so not a lot of these teams knew how to predict the balance and how you were going to adjust your car. Now a lot of adjustments are going to be coming on that first pit stop.
Honestly, Jeff, as we watch the battle for 9th, we're 41 laps into this race, and I thought they wouldn't begin testing that traction compound until about this point in the race, but no, some drivers were up there right away.
What do we know?
Yeah, right. Joey Logano up for 7th place.
Well, this is when you're Kyle Larson, you're just praying for a caution, please, because if a caution doesn't come, he's going to march backwards a lot more than just this right now.
.42 laps in. Chase Elliott had a lead of almost a second before lap traffic. Harvick 2nd. And look at DiBenedetto shortcutting his way to 3rd. NASCAR Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Perfect for race fans. Chase Elliott has led every one of the 48 laps so far. His crew chief, Alan Gustafson, has 3 wins here with 3 different drivers, including Jeff. 2nd, Kevin Harvick, 0.7 of a second back. Race on over to Outback for a free Bloomin' Onion. If Kevin places in the top 10, go to Outback.com for details. How about this battle, which was for 9th place minutes ago? Larson, Keselowski on the move up, and Kyle Busch.
Yeah, unfortunately, Larson's been really going backwards with a tight condition in his race car, and you saw where the 2 of Keselowski got a good run to the bottom, and then what does Kyle Busch do? Just fills that outside lane, tries to push Larson.
3 wide top. Really crowded here. I'm in line with you, the 18, 2's inside.
That's
never a fun thing for a spotter when your car's going backwards.
That's frustrating, though. It's really crowded here. Yes, it is. Keselowski continues to move up. It's Alex Bowman who drops the spot, Jamie.
Well, last week's winner, Alex Bowman in the 88, another one of those teams that weren't sure what they had. I talked to his crew chief this morning, and he said in practice we were so far off we couldn't run more than 8 to 10 laps per run. But right now the car is coming to him. You see him in that traction compound. It gets a little snug. He's picked up 1 spot.
Keselowski told me this morning they're looking to finesse their strengths here. Loves this package. Ran on the apron. He felt like they would run up top a lot today. The biggest issue right now is drive off. That's what Jeremy Bullins will fix when they hit pit road on their first stop.
William Byron moving past Kyle Larson. Byron was fastest in one of the practice sessions.
Whoa, that's what you call jumping the cushion right there for William Byron. He drove into turn 1 really deep, tried to slide up into that traction compound, almost stepped all the way over it into the wall.
3 wide. and for the lead.
Coming up on John Hunter Nemechek, one of our rookies this year. And each one of these cars they get to, Mike, is going to be harder and harder to maneuver around. They've got a little more speed in their car, so Chase Elliott has to really be smart in how he goes about that. They're going to fight him harder because he's the leader. Opportunity for Kevin Harvick.
Typical short track traffic jam. One driver who's had no problems with that traffic is that number 19, a Martin Truex. Started last, he's marched his way up to 14th. And since you asked, Martin Truex is adding to the Joe Gibbs team's number of cars passed this season, which is now 3,600.
I knew it was a big number. I didn't know it was that much. Jamie Mack, what you got?
Well, I've been sitting here watching Martin Truex Jr.'s driving data, and he is doing exactly what Larry Mack would want me to do if I was in the car, and that's lifting early and not using as much brake.
In like a lamb, out like a lion.
We've heard that before, haven't we? You can see Martin Truex Jr. all the way out of it. Look at the telemetry down under 105 miles per hour. Easy back to the throttle, not wide open till you're all the way off the corner. And you guys are right. He's lifting really early into turn 3. Here's 3 wide for the lead as Kevin Harvick tries to get to the inside of Chase Elliott going by the lap car, John Hunter Nemechek.
How important, Jeff, is it for Chase to try to keep clean air on the nose of this car on a place that races like a short track?
Well, even though you're in traffic, it's still going to drive better. And you know, a guy like Kevin Harvick, you don't want to, oh, we got an issue. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. backed into the wall.
Turn 4, or turn 2. It used to be turn 4.
Clear after this one.
Yeah, there is no question pit road is going to be busy, 4 tires, and a lot of adjustments for most of these cars, guys.
Stenhouse was 18th when he spun at turn 2, bringing out the first caution of the day at lap 58.
Well, you can see Stenhouse underneath the 53 there of Joey Gase, and it looks like he just lost the back end. The car lost a little air to the right side. Remember that little tiny spoiler there? There's not a lot to lean on, and it looked to me like he just got in there deep and had to try to pinch it underneath Joey Gase, and the back end came around into the wall.
John Hunter Nemechek will get the free pass. On this first caution of the day, Chase Elliott has led every lap so far, but on at least half of those laps, Kevin Harvick has been right there challenging.
And I do want to point out, we know that traffic's going to be a real challenge for these leaders, and these guys that are trying to stay in the lead lap, they are going to fight extremely hard for what just happened. You never know when the caution's going to come out and when you might be the person to get the free pass.
Great point. Coming up March 11th through 14th, the Big East Tournament at Madison Square Garden, where the biggest stars in the conference battle it out for the right to be called champion. All the action's on Fox, FS1, and the Fox Sports app. "59 laps complete. We'll expect pit road, which begins exiting turn 2 and ends at the start-finish line. So it's a long run down pit road here, which should be open next time by. Larry, 2 tires or 4? What do you think?
Mike, we're going to go back racing with probably about 10 laps to go in this stage. The pace had slowed down about 2 seconds. If you take 2 tires or stay out, the back of your car looked like Ricky Stenhouse Jr., but it won't be from the wall. It'll be from getting run over from the back.
All right, we'll begin as Brad Keselowski peels out from this group. Matt?
Mike, great solid effort by the 2 bunch this first run. Keselowski said the biggest help he needs is to work the tightness out of the race car. You can see the wrench go in the back window. Significant adjustment. 4 tires on the deuce, Vince.
Well, the 21 of Matt DiBenedetto started 9th, ran up to 3rd during that run. Really likes the car. Says it's a tick loose, but it's fast. 4 tires, no changes on the 21, Regan.
The 11 car of Denny Hamlin has been very, very smooth through the corners, and then we see the 4 car of Kevin Harvick as well. That car's too loose in the center. The back wants to step out. Denny Hamlin, his car's been smooth, just needs a little bit more speed. And the leader, number 9 of Chase Elliott, that race car's freeing, but he wants to keep it that way for the long runs.
What he will not keep is the lead. Here's the Ram race off pit road. Kevin Harvick over Elliott, Hamlin, DiBenedetto. NASCAR Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Ram Trucks, Motor Trend's back-to-back Truck of the Year. And by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Getting ready for the restart. Ty Dillon's crew over the wall too soon. Christopher Bell too fast exiting pit road. That's only the 5th speeding penalty that's been called all season here in the NASCAR Cup Series, so they will restart at the back. Kevin Harvick is elected the outside of row 1 against Chase Elliott. Hamlin, DiBenedetto, Logano, Keselowski, Blaney, Kyle Busch, Truex, who gained 4 spots on pit road, and Bowman. The top 10 were back under green.
Look at him fan out. What's that? I don't even know what to call that, Mike. Was that 7 wide? Gosh. Let's see how quickly they try to jump up into that outside lane. See some down, even running the apron through turns 1 and 2. How about Tyler Reddick? Tyler Reddick in that number 8 car. He's been phenomenal in restarts this year. Oh, Hamlin gets loose.
And around goes Keselowski, and Blaney has damage. Second caution, lap 65. Hamlin, Keselowski, Blaney involved at turn 3. Our point leader, Ryan Blaney, heavy damage to the right front wheel on Blaney's car. And this probably all gets started as they did that Oklahoma land rush into turn 1.
I mean, there's plenty of real estate here, but when you get down in the corner, you see Denny Hamlin in the middle between the two of Brad Keselowski, and you see Matt DiBenedetto. Now, he's still in the middle, 3 wide, trying to get as good a run off the corner as he can. Gives a little shove to the 22. Now he's 3 wide going into turn 3. Ooh, boy, I don't know if he got loose first or if he made contact with Brad Keselowski as they entered the corner.
So Hamlin has a lot of damage and a lot of right front damage to Blaney.
So here, right here, yeah, it just looks like Brad decided he wanted to turn underneath the traction compound. I think Denny was looking like he was going to go straighter into the corner. Not saying that was intentional, but it's certainly, they made contact before this, and then it was just along for the ride.
Ryan Blaney's made it back to his pit with heavy damage.
Yeah, Blaney nowhere to go on that incident.
Let's ride with the point leader.
So you can, yeah, see right there, Denny's car just doesn't turn, and Brad Keselowski turns down. Ryan Blaney nowhere to go.
Cautions breed cautions. We're under the second one of the day for this 3-car jam session. Welcome back to the NASCAR Cup Series on Fox, brought to you by NASCAR's premier partners. 68 laps complete, 7 laps from the stage break. The damage to the right front of Ryan Blaney's car was so severe, he's in the garage. Denny Hamlin is back on pit road for more repairs. Brad Keselowski's car did not appear to be badly damaged, and he continues. Although now Keselowski's back to the pit road. And Ricky Stenhouse gets the free pass on this caution.
Yeah, I think the damage on the 2 is the left rear. So even though the right side looks pretty good, and they got fortunate with Brad Keselowski's car, not so lucky on the right rear of the 11, but the left rear is pretty damaged on the 2. Matt?
Jeff, a lot of damage cosmetically around both wheels. They pulled out the fender on the quarter panel. That's good there. A little bit of bare bond to seal up so they wouldn't cut down on the tire. They've got a fender brace broken in the left front, but still, it could have been so much worse. Good news here for the 2 fans.
Blaney's car, when it came by here, had so much excess camber on the right front, it's as if a ball joint or an A-arm had broken. And there is the car in the garage area and out of the race. The point leader, who had a chance to win in all 3 previous races this year, is the first car out in Phoenix.
Yeah, and none of his doing.
If they restart this time, it'll be 5 to go to the stage break.
You know, all we need is some stage points and a 4 or 5 lap shootout to make this even wilder than what we just saw.
All right, debris in turn 3, so they're going to add 1 more lap of caution here. Everybody is on the lead lap with the exception of Joey Gase, Reed Sorensen, Quinn Houff, 1 lap down. Garrett Smithley is 2 laps down, and Timmy Hill in the garage with a mechanical issue. And, of course, Ryan Blaney. We have talked about the traction compound that's on the outside of these corners. Here's what the drivers had to say about it.
PJ1 is interesting here in Phoenix. I feel like last time we had it at this track, at least for me and my car, it was slicker. Typically at Phoenix, we don't have a lot of options. So I appreciate that NASCAR's trying to create options for us.
I think the PJ1 will definitely be in effect. We already saw it being a factor in qualifying, but I think eventually if you're going to win the race, it's going to come on a shootout on the bottom.
We'll see. Brad Keselowski, after further repair, will restart tail end, and he is still on the lead lap. Garrett Smithley also comes off pit road, rejoins the pack.
And some of those comments from drivers may have been before they made a lot of laps. I just think the tire that Goodyear's brought with the softer compound, more stagger, so it makes the car rotate more, and less downforce has changed the game for how that traction compound is playing out in this race so far.
Absolutely. Kevin Harvick again choosing the outside of row 1. It'll be 4 laps to go to the green and white checkers to end stage 1. Here they come to the Geico restart zone. Harvick is on it, and he'll have a car length on Elliott at the line.
Look at Kyle Busch, how much he cut that dog leg. Still going to use the apron down here in 1 and 2. And gaining on those top 2 guys.
Wow, haven't seen that move.
Oh, man.
Pow. What a restart, though.
Just slid up in front of Mark Truex Jr. off of 2.
And look at Martin Truex right up there with him in 6th place after starting last.
What a climb to the front. Goes to the outside quarter panel of his teammate Kyle Busch. Kyle still committed to that bottom. You can see right there, Mark Truex Jr. did something a little bit different as Kyle Busch slides in front of him. He got into that compound on the top, got the traction, got it rotated, but then came off of that to the slicker part of the racetrack.
All right, who wants this stage win more? Kevin Harvick or Chase Elliott? We'll find out in 2 laps.
If you look at Chase Elliott and the number of stages he's won so far in 2020, leading the way.
Joey Logano coming fast in 3rd.
We always document how much Joey Logano pushes and how aggressive he is on these restarts and going for these stage points. Showed it there on that last restart.
Harvick pulling away with 1 to go.
Your mark should be good.
Well, they say he's the best out west, and here comes Harvick to win stage number 1 from Chase Elliott by 1/4 of a second. And for the final stage point, that's Jones on the outside of Clint Bowyer. For all his success here, Kevin Harvick has just picked up his first ever stage win at Phoenix. The Silverado and new Silverado HD are the strongest, most advanced Silverados ever. Learn more at Chevy.com. Stage 1 complete. Pit road will be open. Larry, you only got 5 laps on your tires. What do you do?
Well, we got over 30 drivers on the lead lap. I think you're going to see strategy all over the place. I think you're going to see some drivers stay out. I think you'll see some do 4 and some take 2, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Several actually stayed out right there.
Matt?
Eric Almirola, one of those Fords that hit pit road. He could certainly use more help cutting through the center of the corner, not turning like he would like. A little bit better after the last adjustment. You see another adjustment again on 10. Regan?
Well, 22 of Joey Logano, a little debate there, decided to go ahead and pit. They pitted because of the cycles on the tires. They were afraid it was going to change how their car handled when the tires go from hot to cold. We see the 4 tires that they're going to change right now.
William Byron's in as well. Chris Buescher, Denny Hamlin, Eric Jones, Tyler Reddick, Clint Boyer, Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, all getting tires. So unofficially, the first 10 cars stayed out. We'll double check that.
So, Mike, I know we talked to Kevin Harvick at the start of this race. Let's talk to Joey Logano here about that awesome sauce. Hey, Joey, Jeff and Mike up in the Fox Sports booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, I know you like to label it as the awesome sauce, but, talk us through what the track conditions have been like, as well as that decision to come down pit road.
Track conditions are ever evolving right now. Seems like the awesome sauce was pretty awesome, and then it started wearing out a little bit as cars were kind of chasing it higher and higher, and eventually you can see that some cars in 3 and 4 can make decent speed on the bottom. So learned a lot over the first stage, which was good, and hopefully these 4 Mr. Feelgoods we just put on this thing can get us back to the field again.
Well, with those 4 Mr. Feelgoods, you're going to be fun to watch on these restarts. So good luck the rest of the way. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Have fun up there.
Logano will restart 12th of the 28 cars on the lead lap. Kevin Harvick, winner, stage 1. The NASCAR Cup Series on Fox is sponsored by Ford. Built Ford proud. 82 laps complete, getting ready to start stage 2 here in Phoenix. Ryan Blaney came in here as the point leader. Now he's in the garage with Jamie Little.
Well, Ryan Blaney has been checked and released. And Ryan, you saw the replay there. What exactly did you see from the car between the 2 and the 11?
From the car, I couldn't really see it. A couple of us were 3 wide, and I was happy to be on the top. Thought we were going to roll the top pretty good through 3 and 4 there, and it looks like the 11 just tried to send it on in there and below the 2, and got loose and hit him, and then kind of overcorrected and got us in the left front, and then we got up in the dirt, and we run right into the fence. So, yeah, just a bystander of that one. Just sucked. It ends so early like that. Sucks that that has to happen that early in the race, but and I do really hate it for Menards and Tarkett and Ford. Don't even get a chance to work on our car. We weren't great in the first run, but we made a big swing at it. We didn't even know how that change was. So just stinks we get taken out early like that. Just got a part of it, but go on to Atlanta, see what we can do.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Jamie. Ryan Blaney out early. 33 cars are on the lead lap. The first 10 took no tires. Eric Jones took 2 tires, and Corey LaJoie nabbed for speeding, exiting pit road. He'll restart at the back, but still on the lead lap. Once again, Harvick elects the outside of row 1 against Chase Elliott.
You can see really aggressive by Tyler Reddick and some of these drivers trying to scrub those tires, get them cleaned off as much as possible. They know there are guys further back that have brand new, fresh Goodyears.
Harvick with a late load there in the Geico restart zone, but he gets away ahead of Chase Elliott. Wow.
Now, what you don't want to do is be somebody like Bubba Wallace. He's one of those guys that did not come down pit road. Those tires are older, and you're surrounded by everybody with fresher, more grip in those Goodyear tires going by you on both sides.
Three wide from Christopher Bell on back. That's from 16th spot.
3 wide. See Clint Boyer all the way down to the apron inside of his teammate Eric Almirola. How about Brad Keselowski? He came in and he got tires, but he rode around there and tried to save those tires to gain track position by staying out. Matt, you have more on the 2?
Great strategy call by Jeremy Bullins, Keselowski's crew chief. As soon as they were cleared of the damaged vehicle policy, they radioed him to run minimum speed to save those tires for the next stage. Mission accomplished.
So Keselowski out there on almost new tires.
Well, I was just curious to see if that damage to the left rear, did it do any suspension damage? Right now, doesn't look like it. Brad Keselowski had a very fast race car before that incident happened, and looks like that car is back up to speed.
Jimmy Johnson with our Fox Visor cam in 14th.
See right there, closing up onto the rear bumper, Bubba Wallace. Here's the last time by off of turn 2. Boy, we've seen that a lot today, Mike. You're in that traction compound. The car's maybe a little bit tight, and as you come off that more traction, the back of the car steps out. Here's a battle for the lead. Chase Elliott going after Kevin Harvick.
Elliott's led 61 laps today. Harvick 26. And they've got a full second on Kyle Busch in third, so Elliott goes to work on the bottom.
Inside, door, left rear, still hanging there inside, still there, clear low.
I really think if you're going to pass somebody, Mike, you're going to have to figure out how to get to their left rear off the exit of the corner, then try to dive low and slide up in front of them, of that driver on the next corner.
Logano's moved up to 4th ahead of Truex, and of course he is flying on fresh tires, closing the gap to Kyle Busch.
The word there, flying, because he is flying compared to these other guys, even though they only have 4 or 5 laps on their tires.
Logano is 0.2 faster than the leaders and 2.5 quicker than Kyle Busch, who he's running down for third.
Well, and our leaders are a pretty heated battle right now. Kevin Harvick having to protect a little bit. You see, he goes in low, slides up high, trying to run the same line as the 9. Here's that opportunity I talked about. Chase Elliott gets to the left rear. He's going to side drive, but now he's got to sail it in there and slide up in front of Kevin Harvick. Perfectly executed by Chase Elliott.
Down.
Logano coming for third on Kyle Busch. Not this time. 2x2 through the top 6, with Keselowski trying to hold off Truex for 5th spot.
We saw Truex start 4th on one of those restarts, a couple restarts ago. I don't know if it was just because they were so wild and crazy, went 3-4 wide, or his car just isn't great on the short run, but extremely good on the long run.
Now, aside from Logano, the next car with the freshest tires is Tyler Reddick in 9th place, Vince.
How about the job the rookie has done? Started 29th. He is up 20 positions since the start of this race. You know, Reddick spent some time in the Fox production truck during the Xfinity race yesterday, trying to learn everything he could about this track and the traction compound that was put down yesterday. When you're a rookie, you've got to go to every level to try to find out every bit of information you can, and for him, that meant spending time with the production television people yesterday. I'm sure he got lots of good advice in there.
Yep, our door's always open.
We really appreciate any driver, but especially those young drivers, utilizing any tool possible to try to improve their performance on Sunday.
Watching 13th on back as the first couple of battles are bumper to bumper.
Oh!
Almost been a defender.
Almost contacted the left rear of the 9, Chase Elliott.
Here's Harvick's radio.
Just got loose, and he just hung with that loose every other lap since that lap. Remember your adjusters in the car, no pressure. Please tell me what I can adjust. Maybe put a little front brake if you needed it. It's not going to help it.
I mean, you know, this is just a seasoned veteran of Kevin Harvick. He knows that there's adjustments in there that Rodney Childers is telling him about, but he knows also that one's probably not going to be one that works. You see Austin Dillon gets a little bit high there, and the car's too wide underneath him.
96 laps complete. Talked about adjusting brake bias. Here's Larry with the Ford Performance car.
Yeah, let's use our Ford Performance cutaway car to show you what Rodney Childers was encouraging Kevin Harvick to do. These cars have 2 complete different brake systems, one on the front, one on the rear. And depending on where you put your brake adjuster, you've got it where you can adjust a little more front brake into it or a little more rear. If your car is loose, Jamie, you'll actually crank more front brake into it, but you have to to keep up with what you adjusted when we go back and make an adjustment on the car and change tires.
Yeah, clearly a little more front brake will make your balance a little tighter. I was laughing at Kevin there because it's clear it's beyond a little bit of front brake bias adjuster, but kudos to Rodney for cheering him on a little bit there, Larry.
That's all you can do now. You don't want to pit.
Fourth place. Now, Brad Keselowski went from being part of the caution at lap 65 up into the top 5 now. Hey, I've got something we can adjust. Your screen. We're going to go Fox side by side with 98 laps complete.
I'm going to open up 2 beers. Okay. You tell me which sounds more refreshing.
Gotcha.
This one? Or this one?
Bush. Definitely the one that went Bush. What beer is that?
Are you being serious?
Yes.
It's Bush.
Right.
Bush. This is a stage. The Garden. The Mecca.
This is a Big East tournament, folks.
Where stars shine brighter.
Marcus Howard. Lyle Powell taking over.
And moments last a lifetime.
You can't guard against that, Gus.
This is where the conference king is crowned.
What a game at the Garden.
The Big East tournament, March 11th through 14th on Fox FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
I am back. After months away, I return. I am the humble beginning for some and the triumphant return for others. I am where seasons are made and history is written. I am a year-long, furious journey. And in the end, the one name forever etched in history is anyone's guess.
He is joining elite company. Proud of you, buddy.
I am the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series. I am NASCAR.
When you've got a name people know, you've got a responsibility, expectations to live up to, even a few haters to prove wrong. You can't run from your name. You've got to be proud of it and honor your history. But you've got to add to that legacy no matter how big it is. It's a fire that drives you. Making sure that name can mean as much today as it always has.
I am the future, and I am now. I am going to make sure my name will be the one you'll remember forever. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
At 103 laps, our aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear. Discover what's possible. Keep moving. Goodyear. More driven. Kevin Harvick's your new leader. You saw the pass for the lead. Austin Dillon right there in the 3 just pitted. They had a loose wheel, and he's gone 2 laps down. And Chase Elliott now 7/10 back. Joey Logano 1.3 behind.
Yeah, Jamie McMurray and I were talking during the break there, and confirmed by Jamie McMurray that half a round of front brake changed the entire balance for Kevin Harvick. I'm kidding. I really do believe, though, just as the tire pressures are building for Kevin Harvick, I think his car starts loose. He was in clean air. Car was too loose. Chase Elliott took advantage of that. Once he got in behind Chase Elliott, it seemed like that car started to tighten up and get stronger.
Well, here are 2 of the Penske Fords. The third one, point leader Ryan Blaney in the garage. First car out of the race. As now, Logano and Keselowski 3rd and 4th. John Hunter Nemechek got a free pass to get back on the lead lap, battling Ross Chastain for 17th.
I've been impressed with Ross Chastain, filling in for Ryan Newman and doing a nice job. I know he's a little bit frustrated with the way a couple of things have gone, but I've been impressed. How about you, Vince?
Absolutely, and it's been a big learning experience for Ross. As he said, this has by far been the best equipment that he's been in his Cup career. As you see Ryan Newman keeping a close eye on everything with crew chief Scott Graves. Newman has fed lots of information through the weekend to Ross Chastain. Right now the car's just a little bit too tight, but Chastain taking advantage of every opportunity he gets until Ryan gets back in the car.
Well, Ryan's been here all weekend working with the team, but Roush Fenway declined to make him available for an interview with us. Kyle Larson, boy, is in 15th place. Let's take a look at our McDonald's driver profile.
So we're riding with Kyle Larson here, and if you look, his first full season was 2014. This is his 7th year in the Cup Series. And if you see right there, Jamie, 223 starts, 6 wins, 22 second-place finishes, and 100 top 10s right now.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a great track for Kyle Larson. He has got 3 finishes, a 6th or better in a row here at Phoenix. I talked to him yesterday. He said that his car had been too loose all weekend, but he thought maybe today that would come to him, and he struggled here at the beginning, but I know that Chad Johnson's probably going to make the right adjustments here, and they'll get the car a little better. He's back up to 15th place, Larry.
And, of course, he got those 4 wins back in 2017. We keep waiting, Mike and Jeff, for him to break out and start winning a bunch of races.
You bet, Larry. 15th and 19th for the two Ganassi cars. Denny Hamlin made multiple trips to pit road to repair damage from that lap 65 incident, so he goes a lap down as Chase Elliott and Brad Keselowski go at it for second place. Joey Logano in 4th.
Well, as this run goes on, you're just starting to see how much those newer, fresher tires play a role in the balance of the car, in the speed of the car, and they're coming to the front. And I think if this thing continues to go green, they're going to run down our leader, Kevin Harvick.
Only one driver in that top 6 has not been a NASCAR Cup champion yet, and that's Chase Elliott. We talked at the top of the show, Jeff, about what makes a driver a good driver who can make multiple fast laps here at Phoenix with telemetry. Let's ride with Kevin.
Turn 3, one of the heaviest braking sections of this racetrack, and also a transition there. You heard Kevin Harvick roll out the throttle, heavy on the brakes, then squeezes about 50% before going to 100% throttle in the very exit through the dog leg. Here's into turn 1, very flat, kind of edgy. You see a lot of brake pressure, but then he sort of tapers out of that brake right as he starts to feed the throttle, being really smooth with off throttle and on brake. I think is one of the things that makes Kevin Harvick so good here.
Watching this second place battle. Not a place where you want to try to hustle the car, shove it in, and jump back on the throttle.
Well, not unless it's one of those wild and crazy restarts.
Right.
But, you know, we're talking about tire management here too, Mike. So when you know there's going to be a long run happen, or you feel like there's going to be, you can't abuse those tires at the beginning, and then every lap after that, you're just trying to take care of the right front, the right rear.
Kevin Harvick leading Brad Keselowski and Chase Elliott. Michael Waltrip's found some friends, and Michael, I know you're a big hot dog. Now you're having one. Enjoy.
I am back. After months away, I return. I am the humble beginning for some and the triumphant return for others. I am where seasons are made and history is written. I am a year-long, furious journey. And in the end, the one name forever etched in history is anyone's guess.
He is joining elite company. Proud of you, buddy.
I am the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series. I am NASCAR.
NASCAR Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Perfect for race fans. 120 laps complete. Bubba Wallace just made a pit stop as we look at our Coca-Cola Racing family of drivers. Joey Logano's just moved up to 3rd. Daniel Suarez slugging it out. Denny Hamlin with crash damage. Austin Dillon had a loose wheel, and Bubba Wallace just tagged the wall.
Well, remember that one of those drivers that stayed out, that's into turn 3. If you get too high, we saw this with Corey LaJoie in practice, the back of the car really can step out. That's that weird transition, Mike, where there's not a lot of grip in the on the racetrack.
So with the pit stop, Bubba Wallace now 2 laps down in 35th.
That's pretty significant damage to a very critical part of the corner of the race car, right where that spoiler and quarter panel meet. He's going to really struggle with that now. If he thought he was loose before.
Right.
he's going to say, I'm really loose. And the crew chief's going to say, well, yeah, you wait till you see the right rear quarter panel.
Ryan Preece, they're alongside Ty Dillon from our Geico Cam. Rookie running order. Boy, Tyler Reddick has been impressive. Look at him in 6th place right there. Let's get a look at the rookies in today's race, beginning with Vince.
Well, I think it's the most impressive run of the day. He started 29th up, as you said, Mike, all the way to the 6th spot. And, you know, this is not one of his favorite places. In fact, before the race today, he really wasn't that optimistic when we were chatting about their chances because he just wasn't quite comfortable with this track and the car they had. But he has adapted, and they have given him a good car to run. It's been impressive so far, Matt.
Cole Custer quietly continues to impress, like back in the Xfinity days, leaning on Kevin Harvick for knowledge with his experience. 18th and 19th the last 2 weeks. Crew Chief Mike Shippett told me, we don't have a solid goal. We've got stretch goals for the year. We're breaking down the year into quarters, and that's how we focus on just running every lap and just focusing. Jamie.
Another great run for John Hunter Nemechek in the 38. This is just his 7th start in a Cup car, and he's shown great speed the last couple of weeks. I talked to him this morning, and he said it is such a difficult time to be a rookie in Cup. There is no testing. You get no tire testing. He said this race is our test. And remember, guys, he made a radiator change earlier in the weekend, so he had to start in the back. He's worked his way up to 20th, doing a nice job.
That he is. Started at the back, restarted 24th, up to 19th, and boy, look at Tyler Reddick go here in the 8th.
Oh, he's right in the mix of things. Look who he's going to be battling with here in just a second. The 9 of Chase Elliott. You see Truex making a move on Chase Elliott.
Water 10, please. 10 out there.
Definitely better than it was. It's all about that unloading moment. If it unloads just right, it's really good. I just have a hard time getting it to do it every lap. The problem is I'm tighter center off than I was, last run.
Now remember, Tyler Reddick got tires at the stage break at lap 79, while Chase Elliott got fresh Goodyears back at lap 60. So a 19-lap difference. A bunch of those were run under caution, however.
Well, 2 things I want to point out. We heard a radio communication, Mark Truex Jr., they said, what's your water temp? That's because they want to put more tape on the grill. If it's not too hot, give them a little more front downforce, maybe just a little bit better downforce overall. On Chase Elliott, the unload, that's before you get into the banking. That's as you transition from the straightaway to the banking. I have a feeling maybe he's dealing a little bit of a loose condition in that area, but at the same time, they don't want to tighten up the exit on Chase Elliott.
So among our top 7, the freshest tires are on Joey Logano's 3rd place car and Tyler Reddick's 5th place car. Riding with race leader Kevin Harvick, you hear just how long he's out of that throttle. Must be tough for a race car driver to be deliberate and take his time.
Well, and that's why I think veterans, you talked about the number of drivers up front right now, other than Reddick, who's a rookie, but these guys that have championships, this is a track that usually really rewards guys that have patience, that have a lot of experience and knowledge behind the wheel of the race car.
Turn 4. One car very slow up against the wall, and that will be Austin Dillon, and the caution will wave at lap 131.
Well, we thought that he already had some kind of an issue earlier where he came down under green to put some tires. We think maybe a tire was going down. This looks like a right front. Yeah, right there you can see, pretty sure right front goes down. The 3 car into the wall heavy.
They had stopped earlier, Jeff, because of a loose wheel was the diagnosis. Not sure on which corner, but that is flat. Daniel Suarez gets the free pass on this, the 4th caution flag of the day. So wondering if the drivers who last got tires at lap 60, Harvick, Truex, Elliott, Kyle Busch, and DiBenedetto among the top 10 will make it to pit road this time. Saturday on FS1, one of boxing's hardest hitters, James Kirkland, battles the all-action Madman Hernandez in a middleweight showdown. Coverage begins 6:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
I remember one moment here in Phoenix, I may have been recognized as the madman.
Just one.
Yeah.
Okay. Heavy damage.
One I'd like to have behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, heavy damage for Austin Dillon. Boy, that's unfortunate. Not much recovery from that much damage.
Pit road's open, and as Larry said last time, a lot of varying strategies here. Let's see how they play out. At lap 132, the end of this stage is 57 laps away.
Yeah, the only variant strategy here would be who can have the fastest four-tire stop.
Matt?
Mike Truex still tight through the center, a little loose on entry into turn 1. Last week at Auto Club Speedway, Lee Cunningham had that medical issue during the stop. He's back, totally 100% healthy. Keselowski on the right side of your screen, chassis adjustment to try to tighten up that number 2 car, Vince.
And what a great run it's been for Tyler Reddick, pitting from the 5th position. He said it built a little tight during that run, but it's too good to make any changes. 4 tires, no changes for the 8 of Reddick. Regan.
Well, 22 car, Joey Logano on the left of your screen. He gets too tight when he releases the brakes. That means that the car goes straight after he lets off of the brake. The 4 car of Kevin Harvick, they want a small air pressure adjustment to make the right front corner of that car turn better through the corners.
Here's your Ram race off pit road. Keselowski, Elliott, very, very close right there. Truex, Kyle Busch, Logano. That's how close it was, as we're under caution in Phoenix. Under caution, working lap 136 in Phoenix. Penalties during pit stops, beginning with Joey Logano. They had an uncontrolled tire on their stop, and you'll see it here as they complete. That tire goes bouncing, and once it gets out of the box, that is a penalty, and you restart tail end.
Yeah, Mike, I've been on the phone with NASCAR, and what made it an uncontrolled tire is it bounced back into the outer half of the pit box and didn't get back across before the car left. That's what made it an uncontrolled tire.
Yeah, and we've seen where NASCAR's loosened this rule up a little bit, where you don't have to be within an arm's length of it anymore. But if it goes to the outer half of the box and the car leaves, that's the penalty that Larry's talking about. Good job, Larry.
Now, not a penalty, but a slow stop for Kevin Harvick, and we'll compare him to Chase Elliott on our graphic here, and there is the big difference. 2 seconds slower. They had trouble on the left front on Harvick's pit stop, so he will restart 6th. Elliott chooses the outside of the front row against Brad Keselowski. Teammates Kyle Busch and Martin Truex, row 2. Tyler Reddick, Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer, Jimmy Johnson, Matt DiBenedetto, Eric Jones, the top 10. Daniel Suarez got the free pass, so we will restart with 29 lead lap cars. Green flag. Oh, they were 7 wide or so at the dog leg.
Keselowski making a big run at Chase Elliott. Oh, they're going to maybe make contact off of 2. That's so close.
They're going to lose their drive, and here comes Truex.
Still mid-3.
When we talked about Martin Truex Jr. passing all these cars, maybe not being that good on short runs, right there took advantage of that issue. And look at Kevin Harvick coming up behind the rear bumper of Chase Elliott going into 3rd. Tell you what, I don't see anything wrong with the short run of Martin Truex car right now.
First time Truex has led today. Watch this.
Yeah, when the 2 of Brad Keselowski almost got into the door of Chase Elliott, really stalled both of them out. I think they had to check up. The 19 of Truex just had a big run and wasn't needing to get out of the throttle. I mean, he feathered it a little bit, but those guys were just going backwards.
Come on, and damn it, he's still out there. Get a good fight right here. Come on,
Don't you just love Clayton Hughes? Yep. He's awesome on the radio.
Here comes Boyer for 4th to the inside of his teammate Harvick. Jamie?
Boyer coming off a tough week. Last week in California, started on the pole, and they just were not good on the long run. Today, the #1 focus, be better for longer laps, and that is exactly what they've done. And they've been adjusting on this car, and it has gotten better. He started this race 18th, now working in the top 5 and moving forward.
3 cars under a blanket for the lead into turn 3.
Well, and we did talk about that short run. I thought Martin Truex Jr., maybe they made an air pressure adjustment. That car just seems to be on the splitter early in the run on those lower air pressures and doesn't have the grip that it has on the longer runs. Chase Elliott goes to the lead. Brad Keselowski working on second.
Back at lap 65, Keselowski was part of that 3-car jam up at turn 3 with Ryan Blaney, who's out of the race, and Denny Hamlin, who's gone a lap down. But boy, Keselowski's car received no damage, and here he is fighting for the lead.
I mean, I saw him back into the wall, but clearly not enough damage to take him out of the race. Great recovery by that team. And here's a recovery happening also for Joey Logano after that penalty.
Logano restarted 28th. He's up to 16th. Fifth place here.
Well, Boyer's got to be happy with his race car right now. He's making some great moves. It's a track that we've seen him have speed at and have some great performances at. And I think he's got a race car and doing some great driving to be able to pull off another great performance here today.
Right behind those two, Tyler Reddick and Jimmy Johnson. So Jimmy up to 8th. Restarted on the 4th row. A kind of a quiet race so far, but was not impressive in practice and qualifying. The car's racing much better than it has showed all weekend.
And we put a lot of focus on Kevin Harvick's abilities here, his laps led, his wins. Jimmy Johnson is also really good here. This is a track he has a lot of confidence at, and right now he's got a good race car to go along with it. But he's also going, am I battling a rookie? As Kevin Harvick slides by Martin Truex Jr. for 3rd.
Jamie?
Well, the struggle was real for the 48, Jeff. I know we've been talking about it this weekend, but Cliff Daniels told me we are certain this car will race better than we've practiced and qualified, and they have not given up. They have been working on it. And by the way, Jimmy did about 50 miles of mountain bike riding over the last 3 days. His crew chief right alongside him as well. But right now, Jimmy's saying the car is the best it has been, and they made some adjustments on that last stop to help it.
He's 4 seconds off the lead right now, which is held by his Hendrick Chevy teammate, Chase Elliott. Joey Logano continues to charge. Up 13 spots since the restart. Past Matt DiBenedetto, that's 14 positions he's gained.
I like the look of this 22 car. You saw right there, he goes up high in turn 1, turns in that traction compound, rotates the car, and drives straight off the bottom. Gives him a nice straight shot, a lot of speed down that back straightaway into turn 3.
So this second stage, longer than it's been at 115 laps. We've got 73 to go in stage 2. Jamie Mack and Larry Mack have the analytics in front of them. Let's break down Brad K.
Yeah, Jeff, we've been sitting here watching Brad Keselowski, and he's been able to make a bigger arc into the corner, stay out a little bit longer, and then do what you said earlier in the race. He's able to cut down across that traction compound and drive off a little bit straighter. His car, whatever damage it has not affected the handling. He is clearly one of the fastest cars on the track.
Yeah, I think that just pays off in traffic. If he does get in a position where he can pass for the lead, it just gives him more options. And I think that's great that he's searching around like that and finding that, as we see Cliff Boyer, Tyler Reddick battling it out here.
6th place, about 4.5 seconds back of the leader. 150 laps closing in on halfway on a beautiful day in Phoenix. With Chase Elliott out front. Chase Elliott had a 1.4 second lead. Now he has a loose wheel. Regan
Well, Mike, you got it right. Just came over the radio, said the left front wheel is loose. I got to pit. They asked him if he could make it a little bit longer. He said, no, I'm coming this lap. We see the tire change right now.
So Brad Keselowski assumes the lead. He has 2 seconds on Kevin Harvick, 3 on Martin Truex. And we'll see where the 9 cycles in. He's going to be a lap down.
Yeah, I mean, this place, luckily he was the leader, Mike, because if he wasn't the leader, that's a 2-lap penalty by coming in and taking 4 tires. If this thing goes green, he might be able to get himself back onto that lead lap.
So we have just passed halfway. We're going to take you out to what I consider the best seat in the house here at Phoenix, and that's way up at the top of Monument Hill, where we find Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, it's nicknamed Rattlesnake Hill, Mike, and you're right. It's the best seat in this house, but it's the most unique seat in all of NASCAR racing. But I tell you, it's a commitment to get up here, especially after you've eaten a foot of hot dog. That was a challenge, but we made it up. The view is spectacular. It's a beautiful day in Arizona, and I like consuming racing from high up above.
Track owner Buddy Job nicknamed it Rattlesnake Hill so people wouldn't go up there. Then he made a deal with the Indians that own that part of the reservation to sell tickets to Rattlesnake Hill, and folks can go up there and picnic and watch the race and have a great place to do it.
So there used to always be these rumors that they would go up there and find rattlesnakes. So is that still a rumor, Mike? Is that what you're saying?
Well, not anymore, Jeff. They sell tickets there now.
It's a great story.
Sure it is.
Rattlesnake sounds better than Monument.
No reports of snakes so far, Jeff, but I got my eyes peeled. It's really scary up here once you get up to the top.
All right, be careful coming down. Joey Logano, 10th from 28th on the restart, just passing Cole Custer. And Chase Elliott has now advanced to be the first car 1 lap down, so he's in the free pass position. Should we get a caution?
You know, all it takes, Mike, is as the sequence is going along and that pit stop is happening, if that jack drops and that left front tire changer just misses one of those lug nuts, it's very easy here, as heavy as you are on the brakes, for that to cause that wheel to come loose.
Tire specialist looking over the tires and looking to see if any of those lug nut holes are elongated. Here's Chase Elliott's radio.
Was it loose? Yeah, I believe so. Left front. The right front, I think.
So hard to tell whether it's a left front, right front. All you know is when you get on the brakes, you get a big vibration that gets even worse as the laps go on. If that vibration gets worse, you have no choice but to come to pit road. If you don't, Mike, all you're going to do is ruin the studs that hold that wheel on and only cost yourself the entire race. So heads up for Chase Elliott. Unfortunate, but heads up move by him to come to pit road early.
Yep, he'll have a chance to battle back. Next year, NASCAR will change to an 18-inch wheel from 15 and going to an alloy wheel, where this steel wheel is very tolerant of a loose lug nut. An alloy wheel, even a forged wheel, is not. So they're going to a center lock wheel, and that produced a lot of angst on social media this week. Chase Elliott whipping past the 42 of Kyle Larson, Vince.
Well, and you talk about guys who have made rallies and comebacks. Kyle Larson would be one of them. He fell all the way back to 23rd with an ill-handling race car, and Chad Johnston went to work on it. I mean, he's pulled a rubber out. He's had track bar. He's done wedge. He's done air pressure, chassis, tape. I mean, a little bit of everything to try to get that 42 better, and they have gotten it better. We'll see if it's good enough as we tick off these last laps.
He's in 10th right now. Let's check the heart rate monitor on Kyle Larson. 153 beats per minute. It was 99 on the pace laps.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to be looking at. You know, this is a hot race inside these cars here in the desert. It's dry. These drivers are working harder because we are on a 1-mile racetrack with low downforce, so they're on the brakes more, working the wheel more. And we know by talking to Kyle Larson, he said, hey, don't base my fitness level off of my heart rate. He goes, I'm a fit guy. My heart just beats a little bit faster than some others.
Jimmy Johnson at 8th place carrying the visor cam there. And he's about a second ahead of Joey Logano. And they're running just about the same lap time. Same for Clint Boyer, who is in 7th. All in the 2790s. And Tyler Reddick has been the big surprise of this race. Two-time Xfinity Series champion, racing for Richard Childress, has climbed up into the top 4.
Mike, he just passed Kyle Busch. I mean, this is unbelievable what a run that this kid is putting together.
Now, earlier, you could say, well, he had better tires, but now everybody was on pit road at lap 133, so they're all equal, and he's coming, Vince.
Well, and early in the run, he said that the takeoff was just too loose, and Jeff, the crew chief, reminded him that if he's too free on entry, to put some brake in the front. How would that affect the impact of that entry on the turn?
Yeah, if you have too much brake to the rear tires, as you get on the brakes, it's going to try to slide those rear tires and going to upset the car in that transition from the straightaway into the corner. If you put a little more of that front brake, as Larry and Jamie McMurray documented earlier, just going to tighten that car up on the entry into braking.
169 complete. Chase Elliott has climbed up to 6th in the running order, even though he's 1 lap down. He's coming back. We're going side by side.
I'm going to open up 2 beers.
Okay.
You tell me which sounds more refreshing.
Gotcha.
This one? Or this one?
Bush. Definitely the one that went Bush. What beer is that?
Are you being serious?
Yes.
It's Bush.
Right.
Bush. Drivers, start your engines. NASCAR returns to Homestead Miami Speedway with the Dixie Vodka 400. Join us as we take our silver lap around the track to celebrate our 25th anniversary. Experience heart-pounding action, NASCAR's biggest stars, and all the thrills and entertainment that you crave. Now on March 20th through the 22nd, tickets are going fast, so get yours now. Call 866-409-RACE or visit HomesteadMiamiSpeedway.com.
In 1979, Jiffy Lube changed everything by providing the first convenient oil change service. Millions of satisfied customers later, we're still who you trust. Jiffy Lube. You can do more in a jiffy.
With Pizza Hut's new Mozzarella Poppers pizza, you can switch between 16 fried mozzarella bites and a large pizza. Pizza, then app. App, then pizza. It's your world. We're just making pizza in it. Hurry and try it before it's gone. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
I am back. After months away, I return. I am the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series. I am NASCAR.
This is a stage. The Garden. The Mecca.
This is a Big East tournament, folks.
Where stars shine brighter.
Marcus Howard. Lyle Powell taking over.
And moments last a lifetime.
You can't guard against that, Gus.
This is where the conference king is crowned.
What a game at the Gulf.
The Big East tournament, March 11th through 14th on Fox FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
138 laps to go in Phoenix. Brad Keselowski has been out in front for the last 19 laps. He's 1.4 seconds up on this man, Kevin Harvick, with 8 wins in the bank here in Phoenix. Another 1.4 seconds back is Martin Truex. Running in third, he is currently our Toyota top performer. With Kyle Busch in 5th, Eric Jones in 14th, and Christopher Bell in 18th. How about Martin Truex's day? They had to change engines this weekend, so he had to start last.
Now that's a mountain climb right there.
My portfolio looks about the inverse of this after last week, but boy, that is quite a climb for Martin Truex. That's higher than to the top of Monument Hill, by the way. And look who's filling up his mirror, Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, and Chase Elliott trying to get back on the lead lap. He's been really aggressive as he gets to these leaders. He knows he's got to get up to Brad Keselowski. Only has 13 laps to do it.
The other problem he has is that Keselowski's going to keep lapping cars. Now, Elliott passed Suarez to get back into the free pass position, but if Keselowski goes past J.J. Yeley, as he's doing right now Yeley's in the free pass position.
I think the best chance Chase Elliott has to get back on the lead lap is he's got to get up there to Yaley as fast as he can. I don't think he's going to be able to get all the way to Brad Keselowski in 12 laps. And then hope Keselowski doesn't lap McDowell, who's the next car that could go a lap down.
But McDowell's about half a straightaway ahead, so I like your strategy if it works.
There goes Chase Elliott sliding up in front of Mark Truex Jr.
And that is not for position. This is 9th place, Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Larson. Oh, Jimmy tried to use Reed Sorensen as a pick, and that did not work.
Yeah, pretty interesting where you see Jimmy was down on the bottom lane, maybe trying to use that for lap car as a pick. Now you see Larson goes to the bottom lane trying to slide up in front of Jimmy Johnson.
You see in turns 3 and 4, drivers working their way ever higher into the area where the traction compound's been put down because the low lane of it has pretty much worn off, at least for the right side tires.
Well, and I kind of anticipate this is Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Larson really battling it out here. Jimmy trying to sneak to the inside of him down this back straightaway, but that's what I've been waiting to see is this traction compound going to maintain the grip that it has? It looks like it's moving higher and higher. That tells me, Mike, that the grip is starting to wear off of that section and only going to get higher. Will it get too high where that outside groove is not the preferred lane?
So Chase Elliott has passed J.J. Yaley. He is once again the free pass car. Brad Keselowski is about 2.5 seconds away from lapping Michael McDowell. So that may or may not happen in the 8 laps remaining in stage 2.
Well, if they're giving Brad Keselowski any information right now, they're going, get up there and get McDowell, or are you going to give Chase Elliott a chance to get back on the lead lap?
This battle won't quit.
And just based on this, I'm guessing that some more adjustments need to be made for Kyle Larson. It looks like he's still really tight. You see him having to slow the car down more than Jimmy Johnson right in the center. It looks like he's having to really wait on the car before he can pick up the throttle.
Cole Custer and William Byron have joined them. Meanwhile, the other Hendrick car, last week's winner Alex Bowman, has dropped back to 20th. Jamie?
Yes, certainly going the wrong direction, Mike. He came into this race, of course, it's his home track. He hails from Tucson, Arizona. Had high hopes, and in that first stage, they made improvements. They made some adjustments that made the car come to life. Not so much in this stage, Mike. They have fallen off. He said he is sideways on entry. Loose into the corner has been his main concern.
Chase Elliott's main concern is going to be Brad Kay, who's now just half a second behind Michael McDowell and right to McDowell's bumper here in turn 4.
Coming to 5 to go at the end of stage 2.
Now Elliott is gaining on them. There he is, 4th car in the picture. He's going to have to get past McDowell before the stage ends.
And right there, Michael McDowell fought to stay on the lead lap, but once those leaders get by him like Brad Keselowski did, he's going to have to lift as he did off of turn 2. Opens up the door for Chase Elliott.
And that's for position and for the free pass. So it's a long way for Keselowski up to Ricky Stenhouse, who's now the last car on the lead lap. Don't think he'll catch Stenhouse before the stage ends.
And you think that Brad Keselowski's not aware of this? He knows what a threat Chase Elliott is for this race if he gets back on the lead lap. Not that you want to be a bad guy, it's just you're a competitor, and if one of your competitors has had an issue, you want to keep them down as long as possible.
3 laps to go in stage 2. Keselowski, Harvick, Truex, Cole Custer, and Jimmy Johnson fighting over the final stage point. Logano 7th, Boyer 8th, and there is 10th and 11th.
Yeah, credit to Cole Custer. He's doing a nice job. Also, as we talked about, the Stewart-Haas cars putting some nice runs together. He's coming into his own here on the end of this long run.
Pit road's closed.
10 lead changes among 4 drivers. Chase Elliott with 92 laps led, highest in that category. Keselowski's been out front now for 33. is out for the 51. Garrett Smithley.
Nice work all day, Garrett Smithley. Nice work, buddy.
And that freezes the field just about where we thought things would end up for stage 2. Now this will carry us to the end of the stage. The caution coming at lap 190. And Chase Elliott will get the free pass and will get back on the lead lap. Brad Keselowski, after getting into this mess back at lap 60, has come all the way back to the lead. He gets his first stage win of the season and his first ever at Phoenix. Our aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear. Chase the possibilities. Unlock discovery at every turn. Goodyear. More driven. A lot of action in the dogleg today, just past the start-finish line and on the way to turn 1. Little sweep up going on there. Garrett Smithley evidently was quite an oil down when he blew up here to end stage number 2. And in that last run, after Chase Elliott had stopped to replace a loose wheel, he was the fastest car on the racetrack over the last 30 laps of this stage, trying to get his lap back.
Well, yeah, Mike, he was the leader before he had to come down pit road for that loose wheel. So, you know, no surprise. He's got a fast race car. He's just got to gain a lot of track position.
But now as the free pass car, after he pits, he will start in the rear but on the lead lap. Saturday on Fox, catch the David Beckham-owned Inter Miami squad as they make their much-anticipated home debut against LA's newest star, Chicharito and the Galaxy. The action kicks off Saturday, 2:30 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. How about this stage ending with 2 rookies in the top 10, Tyler Reddick and Cole Custer?
So impressive. We talked so much about these rookies this year coming into the season, documenting how well they've done previously in other series like the Xfinity Series, and there was some great race teams. So I don't want to say I'm totally surprised, but I got to say I didn't know if I would see that happening here at such a tough, difficult racetrack in Phoenix.
Add to that John Hunter Nemechek in the top 15 and Ross Chastain. So pit road will be open this time. They were last in at lap 133, 60 laps ago. Matt?
Martin Truex Jr. has such a long-run car, but he can't capitalize because he gives up so much time at the beginning. The car still too tight through the center, and air pressure adjustment there. Look for a piece of tape to go back on the grill of Keselowski. A slight chassis adjustment in the rear to try to tighten him up over the longer run. Vince?
And the 8 of the rookie, Tyler Reddick, in from position 4. He said it got a little bit tight as the run went on, mainly because the traction compound changed. So you saw the wrench in the rear, so they made a little bit of a chassis adjustment to free him up just a bit, Regan.
Well, Kevin Harvick on the right of your screen didn't like that last adjustment they gave him on the air pressure. They are going to go back on that. He just needs a fast stop, doesn't want to lose any more spots on pit road.
Well, you saw a little trouble at the right front, having the tire changer having to pick up that tire. That did cost Kevin Harvick some time on pit road.
They had one bad stop with the left front, this time the right front. Martin Truex Jr. picks up 2 and just, whoa, by inches, beats Keselowski.
Well, great off pit road and great in that stage 2. Let's dial up Brad Keselowski. Hey, Brad, this is Jeff and Mike up in the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
10-4, Jeff.
Well, man, what a day you're having so far. Look at that damage right now on the left rear. That was so wild earlier in the race where you got caught up in that accident with Denny Hamlin, backed in the wall. I thought your day might be over. You guys have a fast race car. How did you win stage 2?
A lot of fight, man. A lot of fight. You know how that goes, Jeff. I was thinking about you. Was that 2011? You had the same thing. So showed me it can be done up there, Jeff. We just got to keep fighting and pushing through. There's always going to be adversity in this sport. You just got to work your way through it. It's about how you handle it. So, so far, team's done a really good job, and let's see what we got.
Yeah, well, it's been fun to watch. Good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, Jeff.
Brad Keselowski, Stage 2 winner. Duel in the Desert heads into Stage 3, 122 laps to finish this one off. And boy, we've seen all kinds of different lines and all kinds of different approaches, especially on restarts.
Well, I think Phoenix Raceway must be really pleased right now, and these fans that are all here to see the kind of racing. We've seen multiple different grooves. We've seen lead changes. We've seen cars with new tires come up through the field, pit strategy, pit stop action happening. I'm pretty pleased with what I'm seeing. And now we're going to see a pretty long run here to the end. So, you know, I'm curious to see who starts to move forward or goes back on this one. And that traction compound is changing, Mike, and that might be a big factor in what car is fast on the longer run.
Well, one driver very concerned about that is Joey Logano.
What's going on ahead of me there? Do you guys have any info? The PJ1's really wearing off. I mean, everybody's still drifting up, running that like you, and some a little higher. No real change. Everybody, you saw what Clint was trying to do, but it wasn't paying off. Yeah, copy that.
He says like what Clint was trying to do. Clint obviously has a car that rolls around the bottom pretty good, but is that wearing the tires out more for the longer run? And it seems like his long run speed went away.
And I was all ready to tell my broker to buy Awesome Sauce when the market opens Monday. Maybe not. Michael McDowell has made 5 pit stops under this caution. They had the hood up 4 of those times, but he is able to make it back on track for the restart 2 laps down. Keselowski inside of Martin Truex at the Geico restart zone. Here we go.
Man, these restarts are wild. Still 3 wide off of turn 2.
Saw McDowell in the middle of that, thread the needle between 3 cars.
Tyler Reddick's going to get to second place here, guys.
How about that?
Great slide job by Tyler Reddick going into turn 3 on Martin Truex Jr.
The only rookie to finish in the top 5 at Phoenix in the last 13 years was Eric Jones, November of 2017. Rick Boyer also did it. Vince.
You know what's amazing about that 8 of Tyler Reddick and his crew chief, Randall Burnett? When I talked to them today, they were both really hesitant to be optimistic. They were both concerned about this being a short track, a new package, them being rookies. They weren't confident that they had their arms around it. They have made a couple of air pressure adjustments, very minor, and a very slight track bar adjustment. Other than that, that's it. They have made very few adjustments to this car. Pit crew's done a nice job, solid all the way around today for them. This RCR team.
I talked to Richard Childress this morning. He really likes this young man. Has brought him up through the Xfinity Series with a championship and now to the Cup Series. RCR only had 1 top 5 finish in all of last year. This year they already have one. Austin Dillon at Las Vegas, 3rd place.
Well, he has his hands full. One of the best here around Phoenix. I was going to say Kevin Harvick, but all of a sudden Joey Logano goes 3 wide to the bottom on these 2 guys. Uh-oh, an issue for the 8 car. Oh, no, this guy had such an amazing run. We saw earlier his teammate had a loose wheel. Is that something going on with the 8 car?
He just fishtailed all the way down the front straightaway. Quiet on the radio.
Yeah, that's more than just getting high on the racetrack and getting some debris on the tires.
Well, we'll see how it plays out with Logano now 2nd, Harvick 3rd, Kyle Busch there at 6th place behind Truex and Almirola. And Chase Elliott has gained 11 positions since the restart to 14th. Good run for Almirola today. Hanging around the top 5. And that number 10?
Absolutely. I mean, I think all the Stewart-Haas cars have looked very strong today. We expected it out of Kevin Harvick, but these teammates have a lot of pressure on them too. When they know that their teammate has a car and has the ability behind the wheel to be able to make something happen, it puts pressure on those guys to do it also.
And Kyle Larson, third on the outside. Probably the best that car has run all day. Michael Waltrip.
Chip, Kyle got off to a bit of a rough start today, but he's rebounded nicely. How's the McDonald's car handling now?
No, it's interesting, Michael. We had a good qualifying setup, but we missed it there the first half of the race in terms of the race setup. So it took us the whole first half of the race to get back to here. So we think we're on a good track now, but it's been a lot of work.
Yeah, Kyle's wearing a heart rate monitor for the Fox Sports team. What was your heart rate like earlier today when he was racing with Denny Hamlin?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
How was your heart rate when he was racing with Hamlin?
You know, I think thank God we cleared everything up on that last week. I think the deck's clear now.
Good deal. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Michael. Kevin Harvick, last time by in turn 4, moved Joey Logano just a little bit. No change of position. Maybe now.
And I do want to report on Tyler Reddick. I do think you're right, Mike. I think he just got into the corner really hard, drifted up the racetrack, and almost lost the back end of that race car because he's back up to pace, Vince.
Absolutely, Jeff. He just overdrove the corner, and he has made the comment that traction compound is really changing at this point in the track. Before the end of stage 2, he made the comment the traction compound completely different than what it was earlier in the race.
Well, the first lane of it is pretty well worn down, as we knew would happen. Let's go back and have a look at what happened to Tyler Reddick
when you know, a lot of action behind him. His spotters probably giving him some information that they're 3 wide, and he just drove in there really deep, drifted up the racetrack. Goes to show you what a fine line it is of where the edge of that traction compound has some good grip and where it doesn't.
Xfinity fastest lap last time by. Let's show you who the contenders are. Harvick and Keselowski right on top of one another, running 2 seconds apart on the racetrack. And Clint Boyer up there in the Fast 5 with Kyle Busch and Martin Truex.
And to me, what's impressive about Clint Boyer putting that fast lap together is he's further back in traffic. So, you know, when you're in clean air, a lot easier to lay down a really fast lap. He's been maneuvering side by side like this battle right here with his teammate Eric Almirola, but he can roll around the bottom. He has a very fast race car.
Engine number 9 has climbed to 9th place. There he is. He's coming right back into the picture. 101 laps to go in the desert.
Like the doo-dah man together, more or less in line.
Something's let go on the Starcom 00 of Quinn Houff down in turns 1 and 2. May have been an engine. A lot of smoke and a big slide, ending up at the wall, and the caution comes out.
You saw smoke coming out from under the left rear or even maybe the left front, Mike. I gotta believe that there was some oil on the racetrack that spun him around.
Can you drive away? No, dude, something blew up. Gotcha.
That settles that. Pit road is a busy place, Matt.
Brad Keselowski says his car right before that caution came out is just so strong. They debated what to do on the radio. He put it all on Jeremy Bullen, said, your call. Look for the 4 tires. Jamie.
Clint Boyer got his first stage points of the year in stage 2. The car has been loose, but said it's better this time around. 4 tires for the 14, Regan.
Joey Logano in the 22 car. That race car starts off just a little bit too tight for him. He wants a small adjustment for that. The 4 car on the left of your screen, Kevin Harvick. They're going to add a little tape to the front of the grill of that race car. That's going to add downforce to the car and make it turn a little better for him.
Tyler Reddick took 2 tires and gets out early. Most of the leaders took 4. Martin Truex, Eric Jones, and Bell with 2 tires.
Oh boy, Mike. Things just heated up a little more here in the desert.
Yes, they did, with 96 laps to go. Under caution in Phoenix for Quinn Houth's blown engine out there. Or excuse me, the 00's blown engine, Quinn Houth. So he'll join Garrett Smithley, Austin Dillon, Ryan Blaney, and Timmy Hill out of the race. So a lot of different strategies here. This should be an interesting Credit One Bank ones to watch. Jeff.
Oh, man. In his 6th start, rookie Tyler Reddick is having a career day. Back-to-back championships in the Xfinity Series. We've not seen a rookie win, only one, since 2009. Maybe he gets it today.
Jeff, Martin Truex Jr. had to start at the rear of the field, and he is 0 for 28 in the Cup car at Phoenix. He's got a fast race car. I don't want to jinx him, but for the first time this year, his pit crew has been solid on pit road.
Well, guys, the one that has been dominant over the years at Phoenix has always been Kevin Harvick. All the wins that he's had here, he's had a fast car again today. He's going to get past this pit road trouble that he's been having. Kevin Harvick gets it at the end.
Guys, Brad Keselowski started 14th, got caught up in that wreck on lap 65, but he was able to use a little pit strategy, get back to the front, led 58 laps. He's a guy to watch.
Jamie, I think Chase Elliott's going to make it all the way back to the front, almost. I think he'll be chasing Joey Logano at the finish line. And those are your Credit One Bank ones to watch. With 93 to go, we still have 27 cars on the lead lap. Daniel Suarez gets the free pass. And with 2 tires, Truex, Reddick, and Jones will lead them back to green. Also, Christopher Bell, who will restart 5th. Now, from here, it looks like, okay, there's the asphalt and there's the traction compound. But what happens when the rubber meets the road? The sneaker rubber, that is. Well, Jeff and I went out to turn 3 to find out.
We just happen to have a pace car right here. Why don't you take a couple of laps and see the difference, one surface to the other?
I feel the difference. I really want to know what it does with those tires.
Cool. Have at it. What?
Let's go. All right, let's go into this traction compound, see what it does. Oh, heck, did you feel that thing bite?
Yes. Yes, I did. My butt dyno felt that.
As those tires wear down and the pace starts to drop, I think there's no doubt that's going to be an outside group. The question now I have is, will it turn into the preferred lane?
Right. I think if enough people use it and get enough heat in that surface, it could.
He's a great driver. He's a 4-time champion.
He didn't trust me.
I'm the world's worst passenger, but I wasn't going to let on. I guess it was pretty obvious.
The only time I slowed down in that run was when I saw Mike's fingers just push that much harder into the handles beside the seat.
He says, I didn't notice how fast we were going. I said, oh, about 90. He said, I could have gone faster. I said, I know.
If you weren't squirming over there,
oh, stop it. That was fun. We'll do it again. Don't worry. Yep.
And we did learn a lot about that traction compound, and we have seen it has become the preferred lane, but it is wearing out, and I think it's going to change over this next final stage of this race.
I think what's going to change here is the lead, because you've got 4 out of 5 drivers at the front with a 2-tire change, led by Martin Truex, who takes the restart green.
Keselowski going to the inside. I think he made contact with Eric Jones going into turn 3.
And up the outside comes Elliott. Elliott Keselowski, the first car with 4 tires.
You see Tyler Reddick being a little more careful with these 2 tires. As we see the 95, Christopher Bell having an issue. Goes high up the racetrack, maybe made contact with the outside wall.
And he was one of those with just 2 tires on that stop.
Oh, heavy contact. You see the damage on the right rear quarter panel, the 95 of Christopher Bell. See the back end gets loose. Kurt Busch right on his rear bumper. He gets loose, corrects it, but unfortunately had to use the wall to stop him.
Joey Logano's coming after the lead. And Kevin Harvick hunting third from Tyler Reddick. For the lead, Logano to the bottom, turn 1.
Just can't compete with those 4 fresh tires, and Logano has a fast race car and the tire advantage. Truex going to give him a little love here down the back straightaway.
Tyler Reddick with Keselowski, and right behind him, Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Tyler Reddick, after jumping the cushion a little while ago, almost making contact with the outside wall. I think he's been a little bit more careful, plus those right side tires aren't quite enough grip for him to carry speed with some of these guys with fresher tires.
Vince?
Well, the one thing Tyler has complained about throughout the course of the day is that the car has taken off too free. So that's why they went with the 2-tire change, hoping to tighten it up on takeoff without hurting it during the course of the run. So he came in 8th, went out 2nd. They were willing to give up a couple of spots on that restart, but we'll see if they fall below that 8th spot in which they came in for that pit stop.
Well, he's currently 5th. We'll see how that plays out. 2nd place, Harvick, inside of Truex. Makes the pass.
Yeah, and Mike, a lot of times when you put right side tires on, those left side tires have the air pressure built up in them, and so you match up the right side tires, typically does tighten up the race car's balance.
Chase Elliott back up into the top 5.
Well, you can see how much speed Tyler Reddick carries into the center of the corner. Not an easy guy to slide up in front of. As you saw right there, Chase Elliott barely squeezed up from the front bumper of Tyler Reddick.
Keselowski looking over Truex for 3rd place. How about Fox NASCAR crank it up?
Slightly push, half square, equal. Clear by 1 over the 9. Half, quarter. 9's working the high side right here. Around him real quick around him. Outside, leave him outside. Get room behind him to the 8. Good, all good.
77 laps to go. The 4 cars that took on only 2 tires on that last stop, that did not work well. The 4 of them have lost a combined total of 38 positions.
Yeah, and I want to ask our crew chief, Larry McReynolds, such a tough decision to make. You make that choice hoping to get clean air, get track position, and maybe your car will be able to stay out front even though you're on 2 less tires and less grip. Larry, how difficult is that from the crew chief's perspective?
Yeah, because you were right there in no man's land. You had 14 laps on your tires. And, Jeff, I think you talked about it. It changes the handling of the race car. And then, I'm sure a lot of it was based on how many cars on the lead lap. But I think knowing how far you're going to have to run on this run, I think that's probably why it was not a good decision.
Well, the Tyler Reddick experiment, right now he's 8th, right where he was. So that's pretty much an even where he was before the pit stop.
I know you say that, Mike, but he's been so good on restarts with those 4 tires. I think he was only going to continue to move forward.
I agree.
See Eric Jones coming off of turn 2.
Wow. What a save.
Man.
Here's how Jimmy Johnson saw that.
I love it. Jimmy saw he was sideways, barely checked up until Eric Jones started to move down the racetrack. Then he checked up for just a split second, but he saw opportunity and went for it.
6th place, Martin Truex, one of those cars that took just 2 tires on the stop and restarted first. Now falling to 7th. To Eric Almirola, perhaps. Perhaps not. Here's the leader, Joey Logano's radio.
Hey, Red DJ. Only thing he does different is he tops the entry to 1 a little bit more than you and slides up. He's a little bit lower on entry right here, then slides up. Same thing, he's still curling lower than you right back there. 20% slides up into the middle, and he stays up there on exit.
So he's asking about Kevin Harvick because he sees Harvick closing in his mirror. Where is he beating me?
Yeah, and Joey Logano's looking in his mirror, but you're in the middle of the corner. You can't see exactly what Kevin Harvick is doing. He trusts his spotter, TJ Majors, who gave him some great information there. And one of the things Kevin Harvick does, you see how he straightens out the entry into turns 1. That allows him to carry a little more speed. Then he uses that traction compound and his car that rotates good in the center to get it turned quickly and back to the throttle to get down the back straightaway. And it sounds like off of turn 4, which we're in the middle of 3 and 4 now, he uses more of that traction compound off the exit. And the 22 Logano changed his line because of that information.
Harvick's telemetry, lower left.
Heavy on the brakes into turn 1. You want to use this little steering wheel into the corner as you're getting into the banking just to keep that car underneath you. And I think, again, we talk about the things Kevin Harvick does so well. His car turns the center really well. In order to do that, you're going to be loose in and loose off, Mike, so you've got to change how you drive the car.
Ty Dillon going after Alex Bowman for 17th spot. With 69 laps to go in the Arizona desert, Joey Logano out front.
There's no room. Go without me.
I got room. Hop in.
I'll hold it off.
Mondays, right?
You guys go.
Get in, Brian.
Thanks, Mom.
Hey.
Howdy.
Again?
Go wherever they need you. The all-new Highlander. Toyota. Let's go places.
When you've got a name people know, you've got a responsibility. Expectations to live up to. Even a few haters to prove wrong. You can't run from your name. You've got to be proud of it and honor your history. But you've got to add to that legacy no matter how big it is. It's a fire that drives you. Making sure that name can mean as much today as it always has.
Hey.
You fell asleep with your sign again.
Fell asleep with his sign again. No, I didn't.
Okay.
Switch to Progressive and you can save hundreds. You know, like the sign says.
What the hell is that? Sirens turning by themselves, which is just spooky.
The epic 2-hour season finale.
Feels like the end of the world.
There's no solve for this problem.
You gotta get out of there! 911 Lone Star season finale tomorrow on Fox.
I am a party, and everyone's invited, and I am going to keep going until someone drinks some champagne. I am the NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series.
In 1979, Jiffy Lube changed everything by providing the first convenient oil change service. Millions of satisfied customers later, they're changing everything again. Jiffy Lube Multicare. Brakes, batteries, spark plugs, and more. You can do more in a Jiffy.
64 laps to go. Here's the Progressive race summary. Joey Logano, the most recent of our 6 leaders. 16 lead changes. 26 cars on the lead lap back to Christopher Bell. And 6 caution flags, including the stage breaks. Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, the stage winners. Logano in front of Harvick and Keselowski right now.
Oh, here's a pass for the lead as Kevin Harvick gets to the inside of Joey Logano going into turn 1.
Christopher Bell, the 95, scraped the wall earlier as Harvick tries to use him as a pick.
And it works. Not fully done. I thought it worked, maybe not.
Bell goes way up high. He's out of the way.
Clear.
And Harvick's the new leader. View from our Hunt Brothers Pizza Cam. Larry Mack, this looks like it's going to be a long run to the finish.
Well, Mike, it's very interesting the timing of that caution because it came out at lap 213. They pitted at 216. We went back racing at 91 laps to go.
Trouble, turn
race.
2. Car in the wall hard.
Eric Jones.
Eric Jones.
And it's no longer going to be a long run.
Sorry, Larry.
If you want a caution, just throw to Larry Mack.
We can count on you, Larry.
Jones was running 15th. Had a good run going. In fact, he was the last rookie to score a top 5 here at Phoenix. That in November 2017.
I'll bet this, nobody tries just 2 tires again.
Well, nobody raised their hand to take that bet, Larry.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we have 24 lead lap cars. Jones would have been the free pass. But since he's the car that brought out the caution, there will not be a free pass car. We'll double check that.
That's Cole Custer. That was battling with the 20 of Eric Jones. Not sure if Jones just carried a little bit too much speed, got high, or if there was contact between those two.
And let me correct, at the moment of caution, the 95 was in the free pass position. Christopher Bell had just been lapped. So he will get the free pass. So 59 to go. And as a lot of the teams were talking about being between 1 and 10 laps short on fuel, and everybody wanting fresh tires.
I think now it's going to be about having a really solid, fast 4-tire stop. Probably, I mean, you'll be able to get the fuel filled with those 4 tires, but you don't need all that fuel to get to the end.
Let me go back to Vince's point on Tyler Reddick. They hope to be no worse than 8th place by taking just 2 tires. Well, he's in 8th place, so still in contention. All right, pit road's open, Matt.
Brad Keselowski, his pit road in the 3rd position. He and Jeremy Bowles went back and forth about how significant adjustment to make. Brad says the car not as good this run. They're going to put air back in. They're going to reverse the change they made on the last stop. Look for some tape on the grill. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch is in. He says the car much better, but needs to come in earlier in the run, just giving up too much time on the front end, Vince.
Well, and Tyler Reddick is in. The 2-tire experiment, it didn't kill them, but they didn't like it, that's for sure. They were glad to get that caution and be able to put 4 tires on it. Reddick getting 4 fresh ones. Regan.
22 of Joey Logano as they caught the tail end of the field there. We're lapping cars. He got loose in the dirty air. Kevin Harvick on the left of your screen in the 4th car. The balance was good for him.
A little slow on Chase Elliott as they tried to pull the fender out on the right rear, create a little clearance. That took a little extra time.
Mike, we talked about this lower downforce is going to make these drivers use a lot more brake. And we saw in these pit stops, look at the right front. As that tire changer pulls that tire off, sets it down. Look at all the brake dust from the brake pad dumping out of the wheel. Well, if there's ever going to be a time where you want to have a great stop, we've seen Kevin Harvick. They had a few issues in this race so far, but boy, not that time. Not when it was the money stop, and they got off pit road really strong.
Well, let's talk brakes with Larry McReynolds.
Well, this is probably one of the first races this year in 2020 that we've been talking about brakes. We've talked about how fast these cars go off in the corner with this low downforce package. And what these teams do, they take and run as big a brake package, as big brake pads as they can. It fills the entire inside of that wheel up. Of course, how you have to cool those tires is you have that plenum right there that's in the nose of the car with 3 hoses, and they also put fans inside those hoses. But the problem is these teams keep putting tape on the nose and they're taking some of that air away.
Thanks, Larry. 56 laps to go. Brakes always important here at Phoenix. What's always also very important, and we've heard a lot from them today, are the spotters up on their unique perch. And in the midst of them stands Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, Mike, Joey, when you've been on the high end of turns 1 and 2, you want to come down and see what the high side of 3 and 4 looks like. I'm standing beside Derek Nealon. He's Tyler Reddick's spotter, and he told me that the kid doesn't even sound like a rookie. He's just out there racing his car, having a good time, loving this opportunity to run up front in a cup race at Phoenix. This is a huge statement for this team, and I'm liking what he's doing out there on the track, and the spotters are, they got a great view up here.
And here's a bit of radio traffic from car number 8.
All right, pal, we didn't do you any favors there, but we got your 4 tires on it. We'll get it cleaned up in here. Been good all day, man. Show us the magic again. I know you like passing cars.
Hey, come on now. I blew through the stop sign. That ain't your fault. That's me. It's my fault.
Getting set to restart with 55 to go. And what a day this rookie driver has had here in Phoenix. Place after pit stops. So as they form up, Harvick and Logano front row, Keselowski with Kyle Busch row 2, Truex and Almirola, Larson and Elliott, Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson. That's your top 10. 25 lead lap cars, including Christopher Bell, who got the free pass.
Mike, we saw a heck of a battle between these front 2 that are on the front row right now for this restart, Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick. That battle is only going to continue to heat up as they try to catch the lead and get that clean air on this restart.
Late in the Geico restart zone is when they hit the button, and we're back under green side by side for the lead.
Joey Logano shortcutting that dog leg is going to get the advantage going into turn 1. Slides up to that outside lane.
Keselowski now with a shot at second.
Intensity just continuing to ratchet up on every one of these restarts.
Truex way down the bottom. in the dog leg in 5th.
Truex has to do everything he can on these restarts because he has more of a long-run car instead of a short-run car, but he can't get too far behind these leaders, Logano and Harvick, or he'll never make up that time.
And he loses that spot to his teammate Kyle Busch. Here comes Chase Elliott way to the bottom against Almirola. This will be for 7th. Truex and Busch, teammates fighting it out just ahead of them.
Riding on board here with Kyle Larson, searching for some grip in that high lane, dives to the bottom, uses the apron off of turn 2.
Boy, Martin Truex did not get off that corner well, and now Kyle Busch has dropped to the inside. Almirola looking to the outside. Matt.
Almirola was snappy loose. They fixed that with air pressure, but keep an eye on that 19 and 10. They were not racing well together 2 runs ago. In fact, Mike Bugger Ravish told him, you race him like he races you.
Well, teammates are great. You can share a lot of information, but when you get to race day and you're in one of the last restarts of the day, teammates are not. You're going for it.
Boyer to the bottom on Chase Elliott, who's in the middle there with Almirola, and they come off the corner 3 wide.
Well, that worked out good off of turn 4. I don't know how it's going to work in turn 1. Oh, Almirola slides up, jumps over that traction compound, almost got into the wall, opening up the door for Kyle Larson.
That moves Elliott to 6th and Boyer to 7th. And Larson uncharacteristically working the yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack, trying to move up, and now he's way down off.
Hey, right now you just go wherever they are not, and that clean air was on the bottom lane for Kyle Larson, and he made it work going into turn 1 as he slid up in front of Eric Almirola.
In turn 4, Harvick hunting the lead.
Harvick's car just gets better and better and better. And also, you never want a guy like Kevin Harvick to follow you and find out where your weaknesses are and work on his strengths.
Fords in the first 3 spots. Logano, Harvick, Keselowski. Toyota in 4th with Kyle Busch, and Chevrolet 6th, Chase Elliott. Oh, Reddick in the wall. And caution waves. Lap 265, Tyler Reddick was running 14th.
Well, no matter how this day ends up in heavy damage to the right side of the 8 car of Tyler Reddick, I mean, there's a lot of positives to take out of this day because he saw and he knows he can run with the best of the best like he did today. In the distance, you see him up high. That to me looks like tire went down. Don't know what would have caused that tire to go down. Maybe he rubbed the wall earlier. Hard to say, but definitely something broke in the right front. Very similar to his teammate Austin Dillon's issues in the same corner.
Well, everybody will know he was here, as Tyler Reddick had a great run today. Sorry to see it end up in the wall with 46 laps to go.
Oh, brother.
Oh, Larry, come on.
We've run 7 laps, and we've got 24 drivers on the lead lap. I think you're going to see drivers stay out. I think you're going to see come get 4. Jamie, I don't know if I would come and just do 2. If I'm coming, I'm going to do 4.
Larry Mack, I'm sitting in my pit stall until you put 4 tires on my car.
And you're not leaving
until I'm not leaving until you're done. That's exactly right.
But I do think we'll have some stay out. I'm watching my buddy Jeff Gordon. He's taking selfies up in the booth.
What's going on over there?
Blake Shelton's over here next door causing all kinds of havoc. Thank God Boyer's out there on the racetrack.
Jeff just took what's called an Ussie, right? Not a selfie, just. Watch your social media. There you go.
I'm driving myself crazy wondering how many tires to take. He's taking selfies.
Well, now, come on. Larry, focus. I got to ask you.
You had control. You had control, Larry.
Larry, why would you stay out?
I just think we're getting now to that threshold. We're going to be under 40 laps to go. And you've got so many cars on the lead lap. So this is not one of those 90-something lap runs that I was talking about earlier. This is going to be, I won't say a short run, but only 40 laps roughly.
Yeah, but it's those top 5, 6, 7 positions, those guys might stay out, but I think everybody behind them is going to come. They don't have any choice.
No question, no question.
Oh,
If you're
wait a
back
minute.
there about...
We got a lot more than that.
From Joey Logano on back, most of the leaders are in, Matt.
And the 2 of Brad Keselowski stays out. Meanwhile, the 19 of Truex is in, still looking to make his car better on the shorter run. Meanwhile, the 18 is in. He needs help on corner entry. The car just too free. Regan.
Joey Logano and his team debated over whether or not to pit right here. They decided to pit. His car was a little too tight at the start of that last run. It wouldn't turn. Kevin Harvick, same debate. They also debated 2 tires, 4 tires, much like Larry McReynolds said. The decision was to go with 4 tires. His car has been too good to not do that all day.
So staying out, Keselowski, Elliott, Larson, Johnson, Byron, Custer, Buescher, Suarez, and LaJoie. Kevin Harvick wins the race off pit road.
Somebody that didn't have a good run down pit road was Joey Logano. Issues on this stop, going around to the lefts. Can't get the, problem with the jack. Bring out the backup over the wall. Oh, man, big trouble. Boy, he's going to be on a charge on this restart. So, Mike, going back to those that stayed out, when you stay out, and let's say you're Keselowski or Elliott, you're just hoping that enough cars stay out behind you to make it difficult on those with fresh tires that are going to be coming through the field.
Well, I'm not sure if 9 is going to be enough. Here's some radio from Brad Keselowski's team.
Yeah, if I'm a foot scuffs down, I might as well stay out. No, we've got stickers left. No, I think this is going to give us a good bumper here. We just got to go like hell. 10-4, engage to go like hell.
I love his attitude, and I love his fight. He's already shown what kind of fight is in Brad Keselowski in this number 2 team today.
Well, that's Jeremy saying, driver, it's on you. Let's go. Well, let's take you back. We have 43 laps to go here in Phoenix in what we knew would be an eventful day. Kyle Busch, one of the early drivers to get up and into the wall with minor damage, didn't require a pit stop there. Martin Truex started last because of an engine change and quickly worked his way up through the field. Then lap 65, Denny Hamlin got into the corner hot, jumped on the brake pedal, and there go 2 of the Penske cars. Blaney out of the race, Keselowski for a spin. Kevin Harvick went on to win stage 1. Joey Logano bounces a tire to the outer half of the pit box. That is the penalty, and had to restart in the back. Chase Elliott had a loose wheel, had to pit from the lead. Worked his way around and got a free pass later. Brad Keselowski, winner of stage number 2, which ended under caution for the 0 blowing up. And we've had 2 cautions now in stage 3. Have a look at Chase Elliott's day.
Whoa. Everything was looking really good until about lap 130.
And now we get ready to restart. It'll be with 41 laps to go. Keselowski's Mustang and Elliott's Camaro on the front row. The first 9 cars did not come in for tires. They have 13 laps on their tires. Everyone from Kevin Harvick in 10th place on back did come in for tires.
Interesting strategy by Brad Keselowski, taking the inside line. We've seen where you can shortcut that dog leg and get an advantage into turn 1. But if that driver on the outside gets a good jump and gets to the outside, going to cause problems for you. So look for these 2 to battle it out getting into turn 1.
Michael McDowell got the free pass. He's back on the lead lap. Ford versus Chevy. Here we go. And Keselowski with the jump. Elliott right with him.
I like Chase Elliott's strategy to run right to the right side of Brad Keselowski. Brad's going to slide all the way up. Ooh, that was so close between those 2.
But it cost him the lead. Here comes Elliott. No.
Oh, here comes
Larson.
We saw this with Mark Truex Jr. Did the same thing with Chase Elliott, and I believe Brad Keselowski also at that time.
Cole Custer just got a big bump there from Ross Chastain. You're right, Jeff. Not the first time we've seen the third-place car come out of the corner with the lead.
Well, those guys get so focused on one another. They're battling so hard that they start to slide, check up, maybe make contact. And that guy in third place just has a clean run down the back straightaway. That's what happened with Kyle Larson.
Well, third place now is Kyle Busch, who sweeps up in front of William Byron. First car on new tires is now Bowyer in sixth. Excuse me, Kyle Busch in third, then Bowyer in sixth have new tires.
And we've seen Kyle Larson has not had the best balanced race car all day. There goes Keselowski to the inside. Can he hold him off? I don't think he can. Keselowski's been so good today.
Byron fourth, Elliott fifth, Bowyer sixth. Let's go back to that restart and see how everybody got shuffled around.
Catch my breath.
Yes.
Take off, and I like this strategy. Chase Elliott goes down and stays side by side, so Keselowski can't shortcut that dog leg. They go side by side. Keselowski slides up. You see the 9 of Chase Elliott gets really loose, has to check out, loses all his momentum. Here comes the 42. Oh, maybe a little contact into the wall by Chase Elliott. He lost several positions after that.
Kyle Busch gunning for second. Keselowski, Busch, Larson now.
Well, Mike, I'm going to take a look at my race trends here. If you look at the last 8 Phoenix Spring races, the last caution, we're right there at it. Average lap 275, which is 37 laps to go. And
Larry, caution.
Out, right there.
Turn 1, a car up and into the wall, and it is Chris Buescher.
See a little damage to the right side of the 24 car, William Byron. This is coming off of turn 4 right before this caution came out. Chase Elliott tries to make it 3 wide. Little contact to the left rear, maybe contact with the right side. Well, as we just documented, how heavy is that contact, I think, is the real question on the 24. You see, looks like a left front tire went down on the 17 of Chris Buescher. Now, usually what happens, you see already damage to the fender, probably made contact on the restart. Here it is, almost a similar thing that happened, I don't think, with Chase Elliott and William Byron. I don't know if the 95 Christopher Bell even knew that Chris Buescher was going to try to go 3 wide there, and they made contact.
Buescher will be able to continue. Bell is back on the lead lap, and now with the free pass, J.J. Yalen, who's had a lot of USAC success at this racetrack, will get the free pass. So we'll have 26 lead lap cars.
Boy, Mike, I'm just looking at this right side. It just doesn't take much damage and contact with that outside wall to push in those flared fenders on these cars to cause that tire to go down. That 24 car led by Chad Knaus got to be looking at that damage, trying to figure out if it's worth them coming in. Only 34 laps to go.
Let's go down to the garage. Jamie Little.
Yes, we're at the Infield Care Center. Tyler Reddick has been checked and released. And Tyler, you had a better day going than most of the veterans out there, but what essentially led to you getting the wall?
Well, we lost a tire there, Jamie, in 1 and 2, and I really don't know what led to that. I don't know if I just caught some on the racetrack or, it just wasn't meant to be. But our M2 Chevrolet was really, really good today, and I just made a couple mistakes there that cost us track position. I don't know if that's ultimately what kept us from cutting a tire, but we were in really good shape there, and I just made a rookie mistake and fell back to the back half of the top 10, and from there, we had our flat tire, and that was the end of our day, unfortunately.
Thanks, Tyler. Pits are open, Mike.
Boy, they'll know he was here, though. He had a great run going. Kyle Busch among those on pit road, Matt.
And Brad Keselowski decided he did not want to give up that track position. Kyle Busch felt like they needed some help. Air pressure adjustment in the left rear to try to help him on the corner exit, Vince.
Timing just wasn't right for the 42. They did not want to come at this point, but they're having some trouble there on the right side in the rear. It's going to be 4 tires, though, for Larson. Regan.
The 9 car, Chase Elliott, decided he wanted tires as well right here for this last run, potentially. He was very frustrated with the 2 car, Brad Keselowski, that last run.
Wow, varying strategies again as Kyle Busch wins the race off pit road. You're watching NASCAR Cup Racing from Phoenix on Fox, presented by Ram.
lighten the truck.
I'm in love with you.
The high-strength, military-grade aluminum alloy Ford F-150 with best-in-class payload.
At Outback, Steak and Lobster is back. Oh, no, it's gone. Phew, it's back with lobster mac and cheese. It's gone again? Oh, it's back with shrimp now. Steak and Lobster starting at only $16.99. Hurry in before these three are gone again. Outback Steakhouse.
Hey, Mitchell. Copy that.
The Undertaker is here! The dead man has risen!
With over 75 years of savings and service, Geico is the easy choice. We can even help you with homeowners... Oh, not again. Oh, thanks.
You know, automated lights are just the beginning. Pretty soon they're going to have eyes everywhere. Well, good night.
Geico, over 75 years of savings and service.
We're off to a good start from left bead, but right bead is cutting him off now. Left bead is making a bit of contact. Oh, we've got a double bead going for the inside line. The left bead into first place.
Beautiful.
I am the future, and I am now. I am going to make sure my name will be the one you'll remember forever. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
They will restart with 30 laps to go. Brad Keselowski is the leader. He and Jimmy Johnson in fourth have the oldest tires. Kyle Busch on back from 13th have the freshest tires. Jamie Mack, how you like your chances, old tires versus new?
Man, I want 4 tires right now, guys. I think that we talked about it, not just the laps, but the cycles on the tires that these guys have. I think that when you look at Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson, Larry, they're in the best position, right?
Yeah, but in my book, Brad Keselowski and Jeremy Bullins, they had made their bed. They're up there leading the race. They couldn't give up that track position. I like the guys that pitted the last caution, like Boyer, Logano, Bowman, Truex, because they've got 4 fresh tires that only has 6 laps on them. So I like that better.
Yeah, and Larry, to go on that, I like Logano on that inside lane, and we've seen he has not been kind to his teammates when it comes to these final restarts. He does not make it mind taking them 3 wide.
Keselowski, Logano, nose to tail. Boyer on the outside with Johnson. Here we go. Oh, Logano almost got turned.
By Bowman right behind him. 4-1. Oh,
pounding the wall is Truex.
19 Truex.
Caution.
He and Jimmy Johnson had a little bit of contact.
That was not pretty.
Well, and again, Mike.
From behind. Yeah, tempo. I saw it. Full time.
As you get closer to the end of these races and you have such a wide area to restart, the intensity ramps up. Nobody gives an inch. This is 22. Logano goes low. Just a little bit of contact, him and Bowman, as he tries to go even further lower on the racetrack underneath Logano. Yeah, you can see that Bowman started to make a move as the 22 made a move, little contact. You see Truex getting a big push from the 10 of Almirola. They're already, 3-4 wide going into turn 1. Not sure if Truex tried to check up and then the 10 made contact with them.
All right, let's ride with Martin Truex.
Tried to lift Almirola right on his rear bumper going into turn 1. That's also an area where the track's really flat and can get loose easily, and that pushed him up into Jimmy Johnson.
Those two, Almirola and Truex, they had a little contact earlier in the day.
Well, if they had something going on earlier, they got a lot going on now when they leave here.
28 laps to go. Truex being scored a lap down.
Yeah, that's just damage that you cannot fix.
Down and out.
Period of time with 28 laps to go also.
So several top contenders in the garage. Ryan Blaney at lap 65. Rookie Tyler Reddick, who had a great day going, out of the race at lap 265, and now lap 284. Martin Truex in the garage.
All right, so we saw in the last restart when Keselowski, not the last one, the one before that, where Keselowski and Chase Elliott were side by side. Now Clint Bowyer's going to be the outside of the two of Keselowski. Will Keselowski take the inside lane, or will he take the outside lane based on what happened before?
Let's go back to that last restart and keep an eye on Kyle Busch.
Those fresh 4 tires. He's got a lot of confidence, a lot of grip. He goes, heck, it looks like he's going to come to the pits. He's so low, he barely even goes up on the racetrack.
So he was 8th, now 9th, 10th at the time of caution.
Well, and that was huge. Yep. That was huge. I mean, that's a lot of spots that were made up and really put very little on those tires.
Denny Hamlin is the free pass car on this caution. Wonder what the leader's thinking. Let's listen in.
2:14, 22, 88, 4. How about telling Joey not to drill me in the back in the restart zone? That's not doing any of us any favors. Copy, will do.
I just go back to Las Vegas when Joey Logano was behind his teammate Ryan Blaney. So let's go back and watch this. This is as they're coming into the restart zone. Now, a lot of that, you're trying to roll to that restart zone with some momentum so that when you go to the throttle, you might have a slight advantage over the car behind you and in front of you. And to me, it looks like he just anticipated a little bit too quick. Got to the rear bumper, made contact with Brad Keselowski.
And that could be big trouble here, Jeff, because the restart zone is in the middle of the corner. You're not headed straight when that happens. Wow. 26 to go. There's the restart zone.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Mike, right in the middle of the turn 4 exit banking.
We're back at Atlanta Motor Speedway with NASCAR's most talented drivers eager to go. One of the best rising stars returns home to Georgia. Will his homecoming end in a victory or be spoiled by a rival? It all comes down to the finish. Coverage begins 12:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
One of the fastest circuits in all of NASCAR. And a month later than last year, hopefully the weather will be better on that vintage track surface on the 1.5 miles at Atlanta. Going to be a lot of fun. Fox coverage next Sunday from Atlanta. And don't forget that truck race next weekend with the Kevin Harvick $50,000 bounty. If anybody can beat Kyle Busch, anybody meaning any current Cup driver, and a lot of other bounties have been posted as a result of Kevin's gesture. So there's a lot of smack on the line next week for the trucks.
Absolutely, and Chase Elliott has taken on that challenge and will be running that race next weekend.
Now, if Chase Elliott can get back to the top 10, you can get free fried pickles on Monday at Hooters, and should he win the race, that's 10 free boneless wings when you buy any 10 tomorrow.
All right, Mike, as I've been saying, I say almost every week, when we get down to the end, there's 25 laps to go. These restarts are going to get even crazier. Nobody's going to be given an inch, not even to your teammates.
Well, right now, Jeff, the car furthest forward with the best tires is Kyle Busch in 9th. Followed by Kyle Larson in 13th, and Cole Custer in 14th, and Elliott and DiBenedetto. Brad Keselowski and Jimmy Johnson have the oldest tires. They will restart 1st and 6th. Here we go. Clean break for Keselowski.
He went to the throttle much earlier in that restart zone that time to try to get away from Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano. But Bowyer. Look at Bowyer go to the outside of the two of Keselowski, and he's there. Oh, the two of Keselowski squeezes up in front of him.
I don't know how he made that fit.
Boy, he almost didn't. That was a close one.
Boyer steaming around the outside of Logano, but cannot cement second place as Joey shortcuts the dogleg.
Well, Joey has a little bit better tires than Keselowski, but not better than Boyer. That's going to really hurt Boyer.
3 wide behind them for third. Harvick slides up in front of Boyer, leaving the bottom for Kyle Busch.
A little bit of contact there. You see a little smoke out of the 14 of Clint Boyer on that left rear.
And Harvick emerges out of the corner with third. Boyer and Busch battling now.
That's contact between teammates, Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer. Will that left rear hold on to the end of this race with 22 to go, 21 to go now? Boy, this is going to get very interesting, Mike, between teammates Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. A little bit fresher tires on the 22.
By half, about by 3/4. 3/4.
Logano a little loose there. Remember, Keselowski has all that clean air on the nose that Logano does not when he's running right in his tire tracks.
And Brad just trying to guess which lane is Joey Logano behind him going to choose. If Joey's going to go to the bottom, he wants to be at the bottom. See Joey turn off that traction compound, get side by side with our leader. Little contact between these two.
Boy, Joey sails it in to turn 3.
Boy, didn't he, Mike? And slide job up the racetrack to take the lead. And if Joey was looking in his rearview mirror, he had to know the 4-car Kevin Harvick was also coming fast. He had to make that move right there.
Kyle Busch sits in 4th with the freshest tires of the front 4. But Larry, how many laps before this whole tire situation pretty much equalizes among these drivers?
Yeah, I was just looking. Joey Logano has 6-lap fresher tires than Brad Keselowski. So, I just think Brad's tires are going to continue to go away here. Yeah, Harvick and Logano, they're kind of on the same strategy, but don't take your eye off that 18 car back there, Kyle Busch. He has the freshest of everybody.
Don't take your eye off the 4 Kevin Harvick as he just moved the 2 of Brad Keselowski out of the way and brought Kyle Busch right along with him. I don't think Kyle Busch is going to be clear off of turn 2.
No, and I don't think Brad Keselowski appreciated that move by Kevin Harvick. If he can get back to Harvick, expect payback.
I agree, and he's trying extremely hard to do that.
Here's what happened to make the change at second place.
This is going into turn 3. We've seen Kevin Harvick be able to sail it off in there with a lot of speed. He gets to the left rear. Just a slight little nudge is all it took to knock the 2 sideways and make that pass happen.
Just a product of short track racing. And now for third place, Keselowski has Kyle Busch alongside. Keselowski crosses under, comes right back after him. Still on for third place. Brad takes it back, and Kyle crosses under. Yeah. All right, 14 laps to go. That battle settles out. Here's Jamie Little.
Martin Truex Jr. drove from the back to the front to lead some laps, but in the end, it was you in the 10. What happened today with you and Eric Almirola?
I just got run over. So, I don't know. He ran in the back of me earlier getting into 1, and, I hung on to it. And then there, it just, restarts are crazy. It's fanned out. 48 was in front of me there. I wasn't sure if he was going to come up in front of me on the short chute or not. And then the 10 just ran in the back of us. So, I don't know. Can't finish a race. Sucks.
Martin Truex will end up 32nd today. Well, that battle for third has allowed Logano and Harvick to scoot away from Keselowski and Kyle Busch by 2.5.
Yeah, I was really anxious to see if Kyle Busch could get ahead of Keselowski. I mean, he's not been spectacular today, talking about Kyle Busch, but with those fresher tires, I thought he could get up there and make this an interesting battle with these front two. It seems to me like since Kevin Harvick's gotten into the second position, he started driving maybe a little bit harder, and we're starting to see the 22 of Logano pull away just by a few hundredths of a second each lap.
Kurt Busch in 7th place, second among the Chevys to his teammate Kyle Larson. So good day for Chip Ganassi Racing as far as the bow tie brigade. He's had a pretty quiet race. Had that one restart recently where his younger brother got way down on the apron in the dogleg, and they almost had a coming together at turn 1, but it all sorted out.
Oh man, these two, Chase Elliott and Eric Almirola, tight quarters there going through the dogleg. It actually pushed the 9 of Chase Elliott down on the apron, and back in stepped out.
Elliott with the fresher tires of those two. He is 8th with the other Hendrick cars. Bowman 10th, Johnson 11th, and Byron 15th, all on the lead lap. Matt DiBenedetto started the day running in the top 5. Oh, Ross Chastain just past start finish. Has a spin at the dogleg. Caution flag with 9 laps to go.
Don't see any damage, not on the left side anyway of Ross Chastain. How about the right side? Right side looks pretty clean.
He was 14th. And here's what happened to the 6.
You can see he's right to the rear bumper of Cole Custer. Makes a little contact. Oh, actually made pretty heavy contact to Cole Custer. And then I gotta believe that maybe there was some contact to the rear bumper from William Byron as the 6 checked up. Yeah, it looks like the 6 maybe checked up a little bit as he made contact with Cole Custer. William Byron right there and makes contact, spins Ross Chastain around.
You know what there's likely to be leaving Phoenix? A lot of hurt feelings. There's been a lot of contact today.
There certainly has, and you know, we don't label this as a short track, but a lot of it does race like a short track, especially as Phoenix Raceway's been able to create multiple lanes. Goodyear's made a nice tire here that has some wear and some fall off. Low downforce. It's been an entertaining Phoenix, and I think we're going to see a few more hurt feelings after this next restart.
8 laps to go. Now pit road is open, but Larry, now with 26 cars on the lead lap, do you even have a set of stickers left?
Well, that's going to be a concern for some of them, Mike, but we're going to go back racing probably with about 4 laps to go. I think if you're up there inside the top 5, 6, 7, you know what? Your bed's made. You cannot come to pit road. But if you're back there like Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola, Alex Bowman, what do you have to lose? If you follow the leader, you're just going to follow the leader. I'd come and get me 4 tires.
We're about to find out. Those pits are open. Who's going to peel off and take 2 of Brad Keselowski?
Well, he had the oldest tires among the leaders and was not moving forward. Matt?
Definitely treading water, Mike. Brad Keselowski and Jeremy Bullins were talking over the strategy. Bullins said there's probably going to be 5 laps to go. Brad said, pump them up if you got them. They said, we've got a set of stickers waiting on you.
Jimmy Johnson, Alex Bowman in right side tires was the call for them. Matt DiBenedetto on pit road as well, Mike.
So by my count, 15 lead lap drivers stayed out. So the cars with fresh tires would be starting roughly 16th on back, 8th row on back.
Yeah, I mean, personally, Mike, this is not a move to win the race. This is a move to just get the best points you can possibly get at the end of this race. And, hey, you never know. Maybe there's going to be more cautions and more contact. Very well could be, because we've seen plenty of it on these restarts.
Ross Chastain, despite that spin, stayed on the lead lap. Bubba Wallace got the free pass. And we have 6 to go.
I think this is really a 3-person race for the win. Logano, Harvick, Kyle Busch. think all three of these guys have pretty equal race cars, a little bit fresher tires on Kyle Busch. And then Joey Logano, I mean, he looked strong right there on that last restart, pulling away from Kevin Harvick.
So the cars with the freshest tires in that front group are Kyle Busch in third, Kyle Larson in fourth, Chase Elliott in seventh, Cole Custer, and William Byron.
And I don't want to count out Kyle Larson in that fourth position, but we saw him get the lead and couldn't maintain it even with the fresher tires.
Well, Joey Logano was the first of those that stayed out.
Outside would be the 42 behind you. Okay, I don't know. What do you think? I don't think you get a good start. You'll clear them right before you get to the corner. I hope. Best at it, so we got faith in you. For you're on older tires, we got to keep them cleaned up so you got your grip.
So the question there, did he want Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson behind him on the restart because he has lane choice?
Well, it is a big advantage to be able to cut the dogleg, but you better be sure that you carry enough speed into turn one that you can slide up into that outside lane. So Kevin Harvick is now going to try to play the chess match of figuring out what Joey Logano is going to be able to do, or going to do, so he can get position on the right side and hold Joey Logano out of that traction compound in turns 1 and 2.
Well, let's see how it works with 4 laps to go when they restart. Logano takes the inside, leading Harvick through the restart zone and back to green. Logano way to the inside in the dogleg, and it works for now.
And Harvick really high.
And the third place car again has a shot to take the lead. It's Kyle Busch.
I thought Harvick was going to get to the right side of Joey Logano off of turn 2.
Logano takes it up into the black, up high. Harvick even higher. Smoke from Alex Bowman at the back of the pack.
Oh,
big spin, start finish. John Hunter Nemechek. And the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse, and caution waves again. So caution with 3 laps to go. We'll be going to overtime. Well, they were pretty well all wadded up back in the pack.
Yes, they were. And we kind of expected this. Already 4 wide going into turn 3.
Right side of your screen.
What's that, 5 wide?
Yes.
I think that's Corey LaJoie way up high.
Bowman smoking from contact, and there it is.
You see John Hunter Nemechek got into the 21 of Benedetto, then the 47 of Stenhouse gets in the side of John Hunter Nemechek. It was just a mess. I don't think there's any chance of this coming out any different. You see damage to the 88.
Watch the 2. Here Brad goes scooting right through.
Woo. Little bit of damage to the right side.
We're going to ride along with Ty Dillon.
Nice job navigating through that, listening to the spotter. You saw that hole just completely close up off of turn 4.
And these are all lead lap cars fighting for position.
See, Bowman turns into the corner. He gets some damage from Ryan Priest to the left rear. That forces Corey LaJoie high. DiBenedetto's trying to go to the bottom of Priest, and there's just no room there because John Hunter Nemechek and Stenhouse were to the inside.
Did I mention that Bubba Wallace is again the free pass, so he will now be back on the lead lap. He was 2 laps down 2 cautions ago. So we go to overtime, sponsored by Credit One Bank. 2 lap shootout. If the leader takes the white flag under green, the next flag, caution or checker, will end the race. My bet's on yellow. It's been that kind of day, Jeff.
It certainly has. And
if the caution comes out prior to the leader taking the white flag, we will do it again.
So what I always love when I'm watching a race like this as a fan and as a past competitor, so you feel like, all right, I got to do everything right to try to get the lead. If I'm Joey Logano, I'm trying to do everything I can if I'm the 4 Kevin Harvick to get the lead from him. You played your game. Well, guess what? Now you showed your cards. So now what do you do different? How do you switch it up this time to surprise them to still come out with the result you're looking for. We saw it, I think one of it starts is where in the restart zone do you take off? We saw Joey Logano took off pretty early in that restart zone that last time.
And we've seen Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski wait right to the end of the restart zone before they went.
And I thought it was really interesting. We saw Kevin Harvick not dive down onto the apron and try to side draft or get down as low as Joey Logano. He stayed up high, lost a lot of distance going into turn one, but he was making it up in a hurry. And while he was doing that, here's Kyle Busch shortcutting down on the apron of 1 and 2.
Well, a little season review, if you're looking to pick a winner or even a top 5 driver, it could be difficult. Denny Hamlin winning for Toyota at Daytona. Joey Logano for Ford at Las Vegas. And Alex Bowman for Chevrolet in California. Each manufacturer has won once, and each race has had a different top 5. 15 drivers have had top 5 finishes in 3 races. Nobody has repeated. Speaking of repeating, every race this year has been won by a car number with double digits. 11, 22, 88. This is the 4th race of the season. Harvick is car number 4, as we mentioned in the open. Logano is double digits. There's a lot going on.
It's always about the numbers.
It's just past 4 o'clock local time. And we've got a green-white checker coming up.
So something, a little bit of a change there for Joey Logano. He's taking the inside lane, but he's got Kyle Larson instead of Kyle Busch to the rear bumper this time.
And you know Larson will go all the way to that white wall on the inside if he needs to at the dog leg. Whew. Who you like?
I mean, I think Harvick has a little bit better short run car. Joey Logano just has to do everything in his power to not let Kevin Harvick get any kind of run to the right rear quarter panel.
Credit One Bank overtime. Green-white checker. Here we go. Logano the control car, and he's out first by a car length. Harvick getting a little push from Kyle Busch.
So Logano checked up really early, gave the outside to the 4 of Kevin Harvick coming, and Larson to the inside.
But it's Logano who's first out of turn 2.
I almost thought Logano checked up too early that time going into turn 1.
Harvick looks to the bottom. Logano up high. White flag. Next flag ends the race.
Hey, we've already seen Kevin Harvick not afraid to put the bumper to somebody to move him. Will he do that if he gets to the 22 of Logano? Oh, he's trying.
He was within a foot there between corners 1 and 2.
One last chance at it as he dives into turn 3. I think he's a little too far back.
Joey got a great launch off turn 2. He's got Harvick by 2 car lengths, and he's looking at the finish line. 2nd win of the season for Joey Logano.
Winner.
Logano's.
Good job, man. Finally got a Phoenix win. Thank you.
He scores his 25th career win, 2nd of the year, and stock in awesome sauce just went up.
Yes, it did. That was some awesome sauce. Those last couple restarts, you heard Paul Wolfe come on the radio. He's been 2nd here before. Brad Keselowski is his driver. Now he gets a win with Joey Logano here in Phoenix.
Now that's a burnout.
Yes, it is. Oh, right on, and perfectly parked and positioned right on the start-finish line for Joey Logano.
With all the issues that Joey Logano had today, beginning with an uncontrolled tire penalty at lap 131, and he is going to victory lane to celebrate his win in the desert. He had 2 victories last year, in all of last year, and now he has 2 in the first 4 races with new crew chief Paul Wolf. Had a slow stop due to a broken jack and the tire violation. A lucky fan gets a checkered flag. Regan Smith is with our winner.
Well, Joey Logano celebrating with the fans in the background there, getting all the equipment, all the gear off. Joey, you had a little bit of everything happen today. You had a pit road penalty, a broken jack at the end of the race. Was there just no way this 22 car wasn't going to win today?
I guess not. Man, we had a really good car, really good Shell Penzo Mustang. And boy, we had more things go wrong today. Just, unfortunate situation with the jack brake is no one's fault. And just had some good restarts, get ourselves back up there, being aggressive, having some tires there towards the end. I knew racing Kevin was going to be hard there, and I was figuring I was going to get hit. That's why I throttled up in the center of the corner so much, because I thought he was going to give me the bump and run, which I would expect and wouldn't blame him for. But man, just I'm out of breath. That was a pretty intense last 30 minutes of the race, or hour of the race. It's just a lot going on. So couldn't be more proud of this team. 2 wins already in the books. We got to keep this thing rocking.
Go celebrate with your fans and have some fun, man. Congratulations.
It's the 122nd career win for Team Penske, spread among 9 drivers, as Joey Logano will bring his Penske Mustang to victory lane. Joey Logano with the big burnout. And a big win here, his 2nd of the young season here in Phoenix. Aerial coverage today is provided by Goodyear. For those that push the limits of possibilities, Goodyear. More driven. Kevin Harvick finishes 2nd to Joey Logano. Here's Jamie Little.
Well, Kevin Harvick was up there in the hunt all day long, led 66 laps, but take me through the end result there and exactly what you think the 22 maybe had just a little bit more.
I just had control of the race. I got, after we pitted there, I got stuck behind a couple of cars there and lost 5 or 6 spots, and he got by and got control of the race, and he got to restart where he wanted to and do everything he wanted to. Our Jimmy John's Ford was better, especially when we could put it in front of his. So we just didn't get the control of the race back there, and he was able to get by us on that restart where I got hung up.
Kevin Harvick brings it home 2nd today.
Well, Kevin Harvick said his car was better. Let's see what Joey Logano thinks about that. Here's our winner in victory lane.
Hey, Joey, congratulations. What a great victory. Similar to what happened in Las Vegas, man, your restarts were really wild. You had little contact with your teammate there, Brad Keselowski, in one of those. But I'm just curious, what did you learn today that you could take into November by winning this race and the performance you have? Because this is where the championship is going to be won.
You think I'm going to tell you that? There's definitely, everybody learned something out there today, with just whether it's racing, the way this traction compound, the awesome sauce up there, how that worked out and played throughout the race. There's a lot learned for sure, but we learned that this number 22 Shell Penzo Ford team is just stout and is not going to get beat if we have the opportunity. So we tried our everything we could to regain our track position and get control back of the race. I knew that last restart was going to be crazy, but I got to thank my partners, obviously Money Lion, Auto Trader, AAA, Ford, Wheels Up, Coca-Cola, Snap-on, everybody that helps this program at Team Penske. It means a lot. Roush Yates Motors, it's cool to see 2 Fords on the front row at the end of a race like that. And this is a motor racetrack as much as we don't think that it is. So proud of the team effort today to make this one come.
Thanks, Joey. We'll let you go celebrate. Congratulations.
Way to go.
All right. Thanks, yes. Thank you.
Joey Logano in victory lane. Kevin Harvick 2nd. Kyle Busch 3rd. We'll be back with more from Phoenix in a moment. Congratulations to Coca-Cola Racing family driver Joey Logano for his big win today here in Phoenix. Both Ganassi cars in the top 6, all 4 Stewart-Haas cars in the top 9 today. And here's how the standings shake out. Joey goes to the top of the board. Remember that Ryan Blaney came in as the point leader, was the first car out of the race, falling to 7th. There's your top 10. Of course, 16th will be the cutoff line. When we get to the playoffs late in the season, things starting to form up here. And did you play the Fox Super 6 game? Well, if you did, you did not win. So next week, with the rollover, you'll have a shot at $50,000. Download the Fox Sports Super 6 app and play before next week's race in Atlanta.
Clearly, that is very hard to win.
Yeah.
That thing's going to 50,000. Those are some big bucks on the line.
Here's what's coming up tonight on Fox as we load up and leave the desert and get ready to head for Atlanta next Sunday, the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. We'll see you then.